Fire for your mind. The Kosher Clinician.
Greetings. This is another topic of the Kosher Clinician that might be sensitive to some viewers. If you are sensitive to the topic at hand or the title provided in the show, please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Viewer discretion is advised.
Abandoned family structure, an order for liberation. And then this happened. Is this really liberation or bondage?
Come on, we're almost there! Keep running. No stopping now.
They didn't just take the jobs. They changed the rules. There's never been a time when the U.S. job market was good for black people across the board. The pattern historically is last hired and the first fired. Even when there is so-called DEI, let that sit for a moment. Starting in 1965, federal policy, not just law, began requiring fairness in hiring through executive action. From 1965 to 1974, the government didn't just talk about equality, it enforced it. Those protections are now gone, and so are the jobs. The same system that protected access to those jobs was abruptly dismantled by a new administration in 2025. So what does this mean? It means we need to pivot to jobs that are safer from elimination, like tech. We will spend much more time on this critical issue facing our communities in the coming days. Thank you for visiting me at the Black News Drop. I am Aaliyah, your digital friend. I hope to see you soon.
You can't. The only thing you can expect from most black women are problems. Look at me. Look right in the camera. The only thing you can expect from most black women, and this is especially true as you get older, are problems that you are tasked to solve, that you are tasked to tolerate, that you are tasked to put up with in the name of the community. Now you're being selfish. Don't you dare ask, what's in it for me? Oh, then now you're selfish. Because relationships suggest reciprocity. Where's the reciprocity? Where is it? And the only thing that you can expect, black man, from black women is problems. Now, they're never going to admit it. Tonight's conversation is never going to admit it, but that's the truth. The only thing you can expect are problems. Not joy, not pleasure, not orgasmic bliss, not good times, not smiles, problems. Word. Be honest. When is the last time a black woman in your life was fun? That's the reason why we put it in the 5F conference. Fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun. When was the last time a black woman was fun? And be honest. Tell the truth and shame the devil. When's the last time you saw a black woman in your life that was fun? Most black women are work. They are. They're like a community cleanup project.
A new movement for women's liberation is launched, and once again protesters take to the street to support their demands for total freedom, economically, politically, socially. Congress responds, passing a constitutional amendment guaranteeing women equality of rights under the law. Within 2 years, it is ratified by 20 of the 38 states needed for adoption. Women are no longer Miss or Mrs., but Ms., capital M, small s, period. In politics, Women's Lib secures a greater voice in picking candidates and shaping policy at both the Republican and Democratic conventions. History is made when Shirley Chisholm, first black woman elected to the House, becomes the first black woman nominated to run for president. Miss Chisholm receives more than 100 votes.
Before, there was the manosphere.
Fire for your mind. Kosher Clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues, absent fathers who miss you, mama drama don't kiss you, all a part of the ritual, this is how they get you, separate the men, women, clipping babies pretend to, damn, lovers, haters, acting like vultures, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is Kosher Connection. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Connection. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Connection. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Connection. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen.
All right, guys, we about to get into it. I got my man Mumia upsetting Ali in the house. We're going to have a good show, guys, a good show tonight. It took me a lot of time to put this show together, guys. I was on the weather yesterday. I cut my grass, just got back walking with my wife. We went walking. And it took a lot of time to put this show together. So, guys, if you like what I'm doing, support the channel. And I've also shared the content. As you guys know, male-centered content. If you keep it raw and objective, you're not gonna get any views, man. They're gonna suppress it, I believe. If you do objective, raw content that's unfiltered, it's gonna get suppressed. And so I need you guys to do me a favor: share the stream, hit the like button, and donate to the channel. If you like what I'm doing, share the stream, because like I told you guys, at some point I might even think about starting a new channel. Not because I'm not gonna still be kosher, but it's not profitable to do these kinds of shows because you don't get no money and you get more censorship than anything, because we live in a very gynocratic culture to the point now they say that anything that's pertaining to masculinity is a mental illness. So we're going to have, without further ado, I got my man Mumia up sitting in the house, and guys, we're going to kill the game. How you doing, brother? Unmute yourself, Mumia.
Oh, there we go. How you doing, Coach? How you feeling, man?
Man, yes, sir, man. I'm feeling better, man. A dog walked on my chest yesterday, man. My chest was messed up from all that cold, but I feel a lot better, man. And listen, I've been thinking about doing this show for a while. It took days, I don't think people understand. You've done content, you still do it, and it takes a lot of time to put this stuff together with the editing, the clips, finding the work. And I'm going to assume that you're a one-man show. When you were doing all your edits, I'm going to assume you were doing it by yourself. Yeah,
it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot out of you. I mean, pretty much your whole day is consumed, at least for me. I'll speak for myself.
Right.
Yeah, when I am editing and stuff like that, I'm very basic. I'm a neophyte. I'm more of a writer and a talk radio style podcaster.
Yes, sir.
This whole film and video and I'm very new to that. I've only been doing it now for a year.
Right.
And it's been a hell of a learning curve, and
Yes, it is.
a long time to do. So yeah,
it takes a long time to do, unless you're paying an editor. Now you can get an editor and get them to help do it, but editors are expensive.
they are.
And I'm not gonna pay nobody $50, $70 just to clip a 1 hour video. I'm not doing that. I just figure it out on my own. But let's get into it, man. And you're gonna laugh at this. This is gonna be a little bit of satire. But it's going to be intentional at the same time. And I use symbolism to more or less convey the more regimented talking points that you and I are going to discover and explore on today. Right. As you guys know, I'm a licensed clinical therapist. I'm from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State. And I jokingly laugh at Mamiya because Mamiya say I'm controversial. And I say that in jest. I don't think I'm controversial. I think the truth is controversial. But if you tell the truth now, you're going to be censored. If you say anything consistent with heteronormative masculinity, you're going to be censored. They will also psychologically gaslight you to make you think you're crazy. And I'm going to tell you something, Obsidian. You're going to laugh at this. Trump is actually coming out with disclosure. And the new disclosure by astrophysicists and scientists, and also by some theologians, are saying that there are aliens among us. I didn't say it's all in the news now. Everywhere you look now, they're talking about aliens. And I will argue that if an alien came on this planet and told the American black woman to change, that she still wouldn't damn change. She still wouldn't change. She will fight the alien damn tooth and nail. And she would tell the alien that he's misandering. I believe if Jesus came, like I said years ago, I said they were called Jesus Dusty. And I
was just you took the man. I was thinking the exact same thing you were thinking. Forget ET phone home. You get you can go right to the their Bible. I mean, I'm not a Christian myself.
I understand.
I'm very reverent. I'm very reverential toward Christianity.
Respect.
But I mean, the book that many, not all, but many black women do believe in the Bible, whatnot.
Right.
I mean, if you go to that, I mean, with the arguable exception of maybe I want to say Luke and Mark, they were professionals. One was a physician, the other was a tax collector. So maybe they might give them an out, but everybody else would be considered dusty, including Jesus Christ himself.
Jesus would have been considered dusty. Let me play that clip real quick. This is about a couple years ago. I'm gonna play that clip because they would have called Jesus dusty. One guy said, and I thought it was semi-blasphemous. I don't want to repeat what he said, but he was telling the truth. But they said that if Jesus came and tried to correct black women, they would nail him back to the cross and cancel him and say that he was full of misandry. And the thing folks don't understand is that Muslims and Christians and Jews, we don't believe in the same thing. We're okay with that. But at the same time, we're called the children of the book. And some of these women don't understand. And when you get in some more orthodox Islamic circles, those men don't play. They don't play. You follow male leadership in the fruit of Islam. And you correct me if I'm wrong. You follow male leadership. It ain't no tap dancing and it's no partnership, because I know some folks don't like for me for saying this, but partner is just another psychological manipulation. Some of it is they just don't know any better. They say it from a more innocent perspective. Right. But what it is, Obsidian, it's a concept called it's called soft masculinity. Because see, I don't trust Obsidian to be my husband and for him to lead me and to guide me and to hold me accountable. So I call Obsidian partner, because what partner means is that we are equal. And all this stuff comes out of liberalism, it comes out of Marxism, it comes out of this new zeitgeist where the man is expected to be in a partnership. It really came out of the alphabet community, still of the man having total sovereignty in the relationship, having total sovereignty in the home. Now listen, husband meant caregiver. It literally means what it says. It basically means that if anything ever happened, let's say one day you decide to get married, Obsidian, and I don't think you are, but let's say if you decide to, at any point you are expected to put your life on the line for your wife and your family at any time. Yeah. And so that's a higher honor. Now watch this, it gets deep. To those that are not Christian, I'm not trying to push Christianity. I understand that everybody's not a Christian. I understand that and I respect that. I believe in the teachings of Jesus. I believe he's the Messiah. Now watch this. In the garden, they didn't say, Adam and Eve, where are you? That's a partnership because it's co-equal power and authority. He didn't say Adam and Eve, but guess what he said, Obsidian? He said, Adam, where are you? Because he didn't give dominion to the woman. He gave dominion to the man. And it got to the point now, so many men have compromised their power in relationships that the conversation that you and I have, and people don't want to hear it. Listen, the new therapeutic movement now, brother, is predicated on social justice. It's not predicated on objective truth anymore. It's social justice politics that's crept into academia and also has crept into therapy, to the point now that if you say anything that goes outside of that what I call that liberal paradigm, then you're in trouble.
Right.
So you got to walk a straight line and be careful, because if you're a traditional masculine man that speaks truth to power, ain't gonna back down, the spirit of Jezebel is coming from you. What she'll do a lot of times, she'll gaslight you to make you think that you're crazy. Right. And they'll try to cancel you, they'll try to shut you down. I'm gonna show you, just like I did a video recently and got a warning. And I was just trying to show the correlation, how, that domestic violence is bi-directional. But I got a warning. But let a woman do the same thing to a man and punch him out and hit him. No strikes, no nothing. So listen, I'm convinced that things are not going to change in our lifetime up city. It's not that because I don't want it to change. I've been with my wife for 30 years, but over 30 years. But if I ever got married again, I would never get married to the typical average woman in the West. I'm good. I ain't got time to be teaching a woman how to be a wife, and I got to walk on eggshells, and we partners, but yet if somebody break in the house, I got to put my life on the line. We partners, but if the car break down up city, I'm expected to get outside of that car and fix that car. Mm-hmm. So what I've learned is that in this new relationship paradigm, women want the benefits of being equal in power, but traditional in responsibility. How would you respond to that?
You hit the nail right on the head, Kosher. That's exactly what it is. Many black men, and we can debate whether it's right or wrong, but many black men feel, as you just articulated, the word partner, they feel codes as LGBT.
Yes, that's exactly where it came from. Yes.
Bottom line, that's what many black men think. And many black men, now, so that we're clear, I'm not talking about the guys who are knuckleheads. Right. Knuckleheads, guys who don't have their act together. We're not talking about them. We're talking about level-headed brothers. Most level-headed brothers have no issue with going and checking what that bump in the night is all about, including me. I have no issue with that. Yes, most brothers have no issue dealing with things break down around the house. Either they fix it themselves or they go and get the appropriate people to come in, take care. Things that's got no issue with any of that. The problem is, as you said, some, S-O-M-E, some sisters want to be a partner only when everything has been built. Right. Only when everything is in place. Now it's good. Now they want to come in and be an equal partner, which means they want to have equal say in how everything go. But when you're going through the valley and eating tuna fish sandwiches and you down a month or two.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All out. They don't want no parts of that.
They don't want no parts of that, right?
Look at what happened. Look at what happened to Michael B. Look what happened to Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
We all know what happened 4 years ago. Lori Harvey, at the time, she was in her early 20s. She wasn't ready to settle down and so on and so forth. She wanted to experience. We know what experiences mean. I'm not knocking her for that, but that we know what that means. She wanted to do that, so she dumped Michael B. 4 years later, he becomes an Oscar winner. Right. Now all of a sudden, she wanted to try to spin the block on him.
Right.
You heard about that, right? She tried to.
Yeah, I heard about. Yes, right. I heard about. Yes, sir. Right.
So now she's like, yeah. So, and I mentioned him because there's this view, at least online, that if you're a certain type of black man, you're just going to have to accept that that's just the way it is, and you just get treated that way. I'm here to tell you that's not true.
That's not true.
Look at what happened to Barack Obama.
Right.
No better than Barack Obama.
Yes, sir. Excellent point. Excellent point.
We all saw what happened with that. I mean,
excellent point.
Every couple, and I've never been married, but
yes, sir.
Every couple goes through their ups and downs. I get that. They do. And I'm not knocking the former first lady for she went through her ups and downs with Barack Obama. They got their thing. That's one thing. It's something else. It would never occur to me, Kosher, me and my lady been together 17 years, and we go through our ups and downs. But it would never occur to me to go before the American public and detail our ins and outs in our relationship like that. It just would never occur to me.
I totally agree, man. I totally agree.
It just would never occur to me. It would never occur to me to do that. It would never occur to me to take a book and I'm gonna write it in the book. No, I'm not doing that. That's something. If we're at that point where if it's that bad, we need to go to get some counseling, some therapy, or something like that.
Right.
So we can try to work it out that way. But it would never occur to me to do that to her. It just wouldn't occur. So when I saw that happening with a president of the United States, you know, Bill Clinton, and everybody knows this, Bill Clinton was not faithful to his wife.
Not at all.
Okay? And I take a very dim view of men who are not faithful to their wives. I think that says something about that man.
Right.
It's not, it says that man can't be trusted. That man, his word is no good. That man is liable to stab you in the back if you're not careful. I take a very dim view of men that are not faithful to their wives. If you're at the point where, let's just get right to it. If you're at the point where she no longer does it for you sexually, you got to turn her loose. That's the only thing you can do at that point. She don't do it for you no more like that. That's where y'all at with it.
Right.
Turn her loose. But but you know, Hillary never did to Bill Clinton what Michelle Obama did to Barack Obama. She never did that. She never did that. Richard Nixon. You know, the whole thing with Watergate. You know, Pat Nixon didn't come out and talking about him like a dog. She didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that Nancy Reagan loved her some Ronnie. she loved the Gipper. We all know that. So Jackie Kennedy. Mm-hmm. You know, John Kennedy wasn't always faithful to her. We know that. And but she didn't come around and, you know, so for that to happen to Barack Obama, for what happened to Michael B. Jordan, you know, and now I just got wind earlier. Will Smith, and I don't know if this is true or not. You got to be careful with now we got AI, so you can do deep fakes and stuff. Right. Supposedly, Will Smith made a message talking about he's had it up to here with Jada Pinkett Smith. Now I don't know if that's true or not. Got to be careful with that. But one thing we know is true is that she took that brother through hell, man.
Took him through hell, right?
And again, I mean, it don't get no better than Will Smith, man. I mean, Michael B. They're now Oscar winners together. It don't get no better than that. So this whole partner piece, you know, and again, like you said, there are sisters who mean well by it.
They mean well by it, right?
But this whole partner piece has become, on one side, LGBT. Many brothers think that way, but on the other side, it's a kind of shorthand for I don't want no parts of you until you become successful. Then I want to come in and tell you what to do after you become successful. And And look, my thinking is this: if you don't want no parts of me when I ain't had no car, when I was behind on the rent, when I'm trying to keep the lights on and I'm working it out with tuna fish sandwiches, then you don't need to be with me when I'm at the Pyramid Club 54 floors above the streets of Philadelphia. You might as well just keep it moving.
Yes, sir. Right. Yes, sir. I love your insight, and I think it goes deeper than that. There's a doctor. She was a ex-feminist. She's a Catholic, and it goes deeper than that. It's tied to a cult of feminism. It's really about the suppression of the male. But I'm gonna tell you something I've seen in couples therapy.
You mean Miss Gress, Carrie Gress?
That's it, Carrie. Yes, sir, Carrie Gress.
She's really good. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm on Instagram, Catholic woman, and I think she's written several books about feminism, and she got a new one. I think she just dropped it within the last year. Pretty good. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get her. And I actually think about. You know, there was a book, and you're a very erudite person. You read a lot, and so it's always a pleasure to talk with you. But there was a book called John Milton's Paradise Lost.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In that book, John Milton's Paradise Lost, the patriarch that was Yahweh was the bad guy, and Lucifer was the victim. Now, watch this. This is how delusional it is. Lucifer rebelled against God, the Most High. The Most High kicked him out of heaven because he's a man, and then Lucifer turned around and played the victim. That's gaslighting. That's high narcissistic and psychopathological traits. Now I'm gonna go back to what you were saying about men, that because in theory men should be honorable. But watch this. It's not always that cut and dry. And I'm gonna prove my point. I got guys that are clients in marriage. Let's say I'm sitting, you paying all the bills. You're a good man. You pay all the bills, which I still say we're gonna prorate it, but you pay all the bills. You take care of your family. You take care of your family. Let's say you got 2 kids that are 6, and you got a baby. Let's say she decided, let me tell you, this is not no exaggeration. I see this in couples therapy, where a woman called herself a Christian, said that
when she's married, because they put their liberal ideology over the objective word of God, she says her body. Now, according to Christian theology says that when you're married, your body is no longer yours.
Right.
Your body belongs to your husband. His body belongs to you.
Right.
So are you telling me that that man is in a situation where this woman is actually cheating on him? Because when you choose to deny your husband of what's called the due benevolence, then you are cheating or depriving that man outside of what's rightfully his. No more than if a man decides to not take care of his family, the scriptures say he's worse obsidian than an infidel. Now watch this. I've known men have been in marriages where they don't get no cat. Now, okay, do they go and look at porn and, beat the penis, masturbate? Because according to Christian, I'm just being honest, I'm just being raw and honest. Because according to Christian theology and maybe even the Islamic truth, right. Even in Islamic theology, the Bible called it onanism. But my point is this: if a man is looking at porn and masturbating, he's cheating. See, we get caught up in these very, how can I say it, very rigid views.
Yeah.
And I will argue if that woman is not honoring that man in the bedroom, that man has warned her, not one time, but several times, and she chooses not to give that man no sex. If that man chooses to go out here and get some care from another woman, I don't see that as cheating. Now, you might disagree with me, but I don't see that as cheating because he's not doing it as a matter of being defiant or deceptive. He's doing it out of survival. Yeah. And in situations like that, now, it's one thing if the woman's a good wife and he decided to do it. That's different. I would agree with you. But if that man is doing it out of survival, either way, he's screwed. If he masturbates, according to the scripture, he's lusting after another woman. He's cheating. Yeah. And so if he decides, I'm paying these bills, because see, people say, well, get a divorce. How can you get a divorce if you got a mortgage that's $500,000 and you got a child? I got clients, Obsidian. I got a client right now. He worked at UPS. Good man. Paid all the bills, did everything right. Paid all bills for a baby mama too, which I would never do. Whew. She decides not to give him sex.
Wow.
So he divorces her. And now she got the hound dogs on her where he got to pay alimony and child support for not only his two boys, but the two kids she had by another man. So what I'm saying, this thing is not cut and dry, brother. It ain't cut and dry. It ain't cut and dry. So in an ideal world, should a man be loyal? Yes. But let's take it even further. There are men that have got with women that have lied to get married, paternity fraud, or not only that, they lie about how many men they've been with. So does he just pledge his love for her and his devotion to her and be a faithful woman when she was never faithful to him? Or do he divorce her when they got young kids and they decide to move on? Only thing I'm saying is not that cut and dry. And in an ideal world, you should be a noble man, but the women are not noble. And I'm going to show you something because the worst case I've ever seen Obsidian was a man that was married to a woman, and guess what happened?
What's that?
In the end of the day, he didn't give that woman didn't give him sex for 10 years. So Don Cap said, I respect what Don Cap said, but I disagree with Don Cap on the board. I do respect his position. I don't think it is cheating. When you listen, if you want to get technical about it, it might be cheating from a technical perspective, but when a man and woman are married and a woman chooses not to take care of her husband, she's cheating.
Well,
she's depriving that man.
By definition, she's breaking the terms of the deal. I mean,
that's my point.
So she's breaking. That's breaching the contract.
Right. She's breaching the contract. Listen, you know what the social contract was, Obsidian, don't you? The social contract was to have sexual exclusivity to that one woman. There was a song I singing back in the day, and you were a DJ, and you remember this because you and I Gen X, you about 57, I'm 54, going on 55. And there was a song by a group called Love Ballad. It was called Love, Together, and Devotion. That's what it was called, Obsidian. That's what it was called, Obsidian. And so they were devoted to taking care of their husband back in the day. So I will argue that it might, if you want to get technical about it, it's not really cheating. Because when you get tricked into a relationship, it's a fraudulent marriage. When you get in a relationship with a woman that's neglecting her duty, she's cheating because she's depriving you of that which she said that she was going to give to you when you signed that marriage contract.
Right.
There's
no like a medical issue. We understand that medical and now mental health issues. Okay, fair enough. We understand that. But if there's no like real medical issues involved, then yeah, she broke the deal.
Right. And listen, I understand what Don is saying. Don, I respect you, brother. I say in the spirit of peace. Only thing I'm saying to all men, it's not that simple. And I respect what Don Capo de Boer is saying. In all respect, brother, I understand what you're saying. But what I'm telling you, brother, it's not that simple. So based on that logic, Don de Capo, okay, you said that means even the other party doesn't fulfill the end of the contract. You are still, I don't believe that God is telling people to stay in a relationship for better or for worse. Better or for worse means if she's sick. Like say we're seeing him get married, his wife gets sick.
Health and richer and poorer. That's
right. That's what that means. It's not talking about abuse. People get things out of context. Based on that logic, they end up saying, let's say if a man is beating his wife. Does she stay with him for better or for worse?
No.
You don't stay in a relationship for better or for worse in that situation.
Right.
You give that person an opportunity to get it right, to get it together. If they don't get it together, then you have every right to move on. But it's only thing I'm saying, it's not that cut and dry when you have children and you have a mortgage. Because let's say if you and your wife have 2 kids, you have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, she chooses not to give you intimacy for the next 10 years. But yet you're on the computer looking at porn, you're cheating, according to the scripture. So what do you do? And people don't look at all the nuances to it. They just want to have this, well, they say, let's give her a divorce. It ain't that simple. And especially in this economy now, it takes 2 just to make it work. It takes 2. So my point is, it's not as simple as we think it is. Now, I understand some people come from a good perspective, but let me tell you something. I had a situation upstate where a guy was a neurosurgeon. He was a neurosurgeon making $980,000 a year. Guess what? His wife rarely, or if any, gave that man intimacy. And guess what he was doing in the meantime? He was looking at porn. A lot of men are becoming porn addicts due to dereliction of duty in the relationship.
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
To the extent that you're able, because I don't want you to get any ethical trouble.
Yes, sir. Right.
Do we have any reason why he was in that situation? Why I'm trying to understand why the wife would do him like that, given that this man is basically making damn near $1 million a year. I mean, what's going on here?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on, man. This is what's going on, Obsidian. Shout out to my man, Hashim Shabazz for that 5, and also shout out to the #1 sponsor of the stream, Brother Wade Johnson. Brother Wade Johnson always showing love for the 15. Hold on, Obsidian. It's Brother Ray Johnson is the #1 sponsor of the stream for the $15. Shout out to Brother Ray Johnson for...
It's the money.
Well, it's simple, Obsidian. You're a smart man. You've written several books. The last book you written, one of your book before you wrote the book of Kevin Samuel, talks about the caustic effects of psychological feminism. I call it PSYOP. Listen, I'm a licensed clinical therapist. I'm not one of these fakes like Dr. Cheyenne Bryan. You know my story. You know me. You know I'm real. I'm not a fake person. I'm real. I've said it several times at the conclave. I've said it several times now. Many men have been conditioned through an ego defense mechanism called introjection. It's an ego defense mechanism. Basically what it predicates is that because so many men are raised by their mothers, they're raised in single parent homes, they don't see, like a solid sister woman don't see anything outside of herself. A man that's a victim of a psychopathology called introjection cannot see anything outside of the female indoctrination. I introject, therefore I internalize, therefore I identify, therefore I repel against anything that's not synonymous to what my mother taught me. So they're compromised men. You got men talking about, they're not your women. The master teacher said, who is my brother? He said that he that does the will of the Father is my brother. Just because your skin color is not black, it doesn't mean that your consciousness is black. That's why I solicit all men that if they want to get with a woman, you get with a woman that follows you and loves you, whether she be Asian, Indian, African, black, or whatever. You should never be beholden to a gynocratic code and system that does not honor and respect heteronormative masculinity. And so you got a bunch of compromised men. I talk to professional men. I talk to, I got a celebrity, a couple of celebrities. I'm too, a celebrity couple person. And I ain't gonna say the name because of HIPAA, because I would never say that. But my point is, all men are going through it. And I can see a string, it's called a string of consciousness where they all think the same. They cannot think outside of seeing it through the lens of mama. And so they sabotage themselves, or they become a saboteur of their own ignorance. And so it becomes a very nefarious cycle. Listen, Let me tell you something. In systems theory, the premise is that the part is not greater than the whole. In the black community, the premise is the part is greater than the whole. I'm going to say it again. In systems theory, system theory predicates and says that the part is not greater than the whole. You cannot have calibration in a society where the part thinks it's greater than the whole. In the black community, the part thinks it's better than the whole. That's why you got chicks that got big backs. You remember the song back in the day, never trust a big butt in the smile, but never trust a big back in the smile. You got chicks now that think they better than the average man. Now, you were a man that worked with his hands. You were a skilled craftsman. You worked as a blue-collar professional. I know women that right now sitting, they got children by other men that will say a man of your caliber is less than her.
Oh, yeah. It's very common. Very common in the black community, unfortunately. And it's not something that's widely talked about, in part because most blue collar brothers don't have time to do podcasts. I was kind of fortunate. I retired very early. When I just turned 40, I retired due to a workplace injury, back injury. But most brothers, you don't hear from them because they're not in the white collar professions. They're out, in the field, putting in, manual labor, manual work. Plus, they have to use their brain, your skill trade like me. Right. So they're not going to be around to, make podcasts and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very common in the black community, sad to say, that a lot of blue collar guys is kind of seen as less than and so on and so forth. It's very common.
Yeah, and I take great umbrage with it. You know why? Because let me tell you what my daddy got. What my daddy got. I'm gonna show it to you. You're gonna laugh at this. I got a whole new concept that I'm sure some folks can steal and not give me credit for it. But I'm saying I didn't hear nobody use the term Hoeflation until I said it. I never heard nobody say it.
Yeah, you was the first person I ever heard.
Yeah, right. And then bigger content creators start saying that they don't give. You know how they do Obsidian. They're bigger than you. They ain't gonna give you credit. They'll get the sound bite. They'll act like it's something they invented, and that's fine. I get it. They won't give you credit for it. But shout out to my man Justin Moore. He said, "Thanks for the conversation, fellas. I'm learning a lot." And you know why I'm so passionate about this? Because I understand Obsidian that I'm very vocal. I'm very loquacious. I know I probably could blow my channel up if I compromised and lived on the edge and said what was expedient or correct. I get it. I understand. And I am thinking about starting a new channel at some point. But like Jeremiah said, he says like fire. I use the terminology fire for your mind, and fire means illumination, but also fire in neuroscience means that the neurons in the brain is coming together. There's a lot of disruption in the brain, Obsidian, because of trauma. And the neurons and synapses are not firing because the mind is not healed. And so I could take a more passive approach and, be more PC and, okay, guys, and, I'm not doing that. I'm a man. I'm from the old school. I'm Gen X strong. That's just who I am. I'm Gen X, man. I got it from the mud. You and I both got it from the mud. Nobody gave us nothing. We had to figure it out. Gen X, that's why you work I see you working like a dog. You be working on 4 and 5 books. I said that man work all the time. Yeah. Taking notes. Because you and I understand that we got to get it from the mud. Nobody gonna give us nothing. We're gonna have to figure it out on our own. That's why I think we're so resilient, because we just figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I'm passionate Obsidian because I've seen the pain and the brokenness of a lot of men. And when I speak out the way that I do, I'm not doing it to be mean. It's just a fire in me, Like I said, I don't live by the zodiac, but I'm a Leo, and I know you're a Sagittarius. And Leos and Sags are fiery. We're very passionate. We speak what we believe in. We don't back down. We're blunt. We say what we believe in, And I get it. I've been in a lot of trouble. I feel like a runaway slave sometimes because I've been whipped a lot. I got a lot of stripes on my back. I've been beat to scorn, Obsidian, because I just speak the truth to power, man. Yeah. And it is not always popular to speak the truth to power. Now watch this. There is a contingency of people that are looking for objective truth. There's a new contingency that want to be, they tired of folks lying to them. They want to be told the truth. And it's tricky because you can lose friends, you can lose influence, and you can lose all of that. I understand that. I'm not stupid. I know BS when I see BS. I know fake people when I see it. So it is what it is. But the way I look at it, Obsidian, is like this. I can either be a clarion caller and do it for the glory of God, or I can be fake and do it for the glory of Lucifer. And so I choose to do it for the glory of God, because I know at some point none of this mess will matter a million years from now. I'm shout out to my man John Smith. He's a good evening brother coaching Obsidian. But you wrote a book a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, and we're gonna talk about that. But I'm gonna go back and look at this clip that you did, Obsidian.
Yeah.
And the reason why I use the Statue of Liberty, Obsidian, because the premise with the Statue of Liberty is the statue symbolized freedom and opportunity. And the Statue of Liberty said, "Bring me your tired," and she said, "Bring me your poor." But the caveat today, even though this is a satire, is that some of these modern women, shout out to all the good women. I want to take the special opportunity to thank all the good sisters that are loving their men, doing the right thing. Because I know when I do these shows, they think I got some kind of hate. I don't hate black women. I love black women. I just hate the behavior.
Right.
But Obsidian, just like the statue symbolized liberty and freedom, a lot of these women are running to the Statue of Liberty, or they ran to the Statue of Liberty in rebellion towards leadership. And they're Obsidian. Not only are those vaginas are tired, those vaginas are broken, those vaginas are poor. And the statue said, "Bring me your tired and your poor." But them vaginas are tired, Obsidian. They're tired. And what they don't understand, now they trying to run the men and try to get into relationships. But when we were on the ship in Atlanta, I saw men ignore women. They weren't talking to women, they were ignoring them. Dating has gone down. And so the same statue that liberated women also destroyed women. What do you think about that?
I do believe that. I think that feminism has had a very deleterious effect in Black America. I'm not going to say it's the reason why everything is bad in Black America, but it undeniably plays a role. Definitely. I mean, you can even to the point now where you can hear rank and file Black women using the language of, feminism in the academy. And very often they don't really understand what they're talking about. They just kind of hear it repeated on social media and they hear the buzzwords and it sounds good, but they really don't understand what they're saying. And that's the reason why when I wrote the book, Toxic Femininity, right here.
Yeah. Talk about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I wrote this book 2 years ago, I made the point at the very beginning and then I reiterated it again at the end, that we Black men have to be very careful not to fall into the trap of thinking that every Black woman is a modern Black feminist. They are not.
Right.
And I admonish brothers in the book to resist if a sister disagrees with you, that does not mean she's a modern Black feminist. It just means she just disagrees with you. You have to, because there's sometimes some brothers, when some sisters say something he don't like, you got to resist that, brother. And that's the reason why I took the time to write this big ass book, 475 pages. The reason why I did that is to thoroughly explain so that brothers could understand when they actually see a sister spouting feminist talking points, to be able to spot it. But just because a sister disagrees with you, or y'all might have a falling out, or she may say something that might upset you, that doesn't necessarily mean she's a feminist. That we got to make the distinction. But for those who are card carrying feminists, and I give a lot of examples in this book. They're behind a good bit of the problems in the Black community. Not all of them, but
right. Yeah. The liberal indoctrination of destroy. Don Capel, I'll read this, and guys, if y'all want me to read a comment, make sure you hit the super chat. We have to ask ourselves the question: if a man refused to provide for his family, and his wife had an affair, will we still see that as cheating? No, I don't believe we will see that as cheating. I'm gonna tell you why. Dereliction of duty is not cheating. Dereliction of duty is cheating. If a man was choosing not to provide for his wife, and that wife was a good woman, and he was out here cheating on his wife and not providing for her, then that's cheating. But rewarding bad behavior is cheating. Well, hold up. Dereliction of duty will not be the same as that man cheating on his wife. But when you reward bad behavior to a woman that's cheating, I don't see that as cheating. That man choose to cut back or fall back in part, meaning he paid the basic bills until he can get rid of her. But he can also say, I'm not going to do all the nice things like get your hair done and your nails done if he found out that woman was cheating. So I will argue, Don DeCapo, that those two things are not synonymous. Those two things are different, respectfully. And I say that in the spirit of respect to you, brother. But I would say those two things are not synonymous. When a woman chooses not to give her husband sex, when she signed that marriage contract, she's cheating on that man because that's dereliction of duty. But if that man say, I'm not going to take care of my family, that woman's a good wife, then that man would be cheating on his wife because he's depriving that wife of provision because that woman hasn't done anything wrong. So that's the way I see that. But let me show you something, man. Let's get back to you. You made a clip, and I use hold tight.
And in family structure, an order for liberation. And then this happened. Is this really liberation or bondage?
Come on, we're almost there. Keep running.
So they were basically, I use this as how can I say it? A metaphor, a symbolism. They were running to the statue to be liberated. But then the statue is crying. The statue is broke. The statue ain't got no more money. The statue is swimming back on boats and planes. And no, you need to go on back because I ain't got time for it. The statue can't even afford these women now. Because the statue said, I ain't got no more money because the government is broke. But hold tight.
No stopping now.
They didn't just take the jobs. They changed the rules. There's never been a time when the U.S. job market was good for black people across the board. The pattern historically is last hired and the first fired. Even when there is so-called DEI, let that sit for a moment. Starting in 1965, federal policy, not just law, began requiring fairness in hiring through executive action. From 1965 to 1974, the government didn't just talk about equality, it enforced it. Those protections are now gone, and so are the jobs. The same system that protected access to those jobs was abruptly dismantled by a new administration in 2025. So what does this mean? It means we need to pivot to jobs that are safer from elimination, like tech. We will spend much more time on this critical issue facing our communities in the coming days. Thank you for visiting me.
The only thing you can expect from most black women, and this is especially true as you get older, are problems that you are tasked to solve, that you are tasked to tolerate, that you are tasked to put up with in the name of the community. Now you're being selfish. Don't you dare ask, what's in it for me? Oh, then now you're selfish. Because relationships suggest reciprocity. Where's the reciprocity? Where is it? And the only thing that you can expect, black man, from black women is problem. Now, they're never going to admit it. Tonight's conversation is never going to admit it, but that's the truth. The only thing you can expect are problems. Not joy, not pleasure, not orgasmic bliss, not good times, not smiles, problems.
And what you're saying is true. I did a show with Dr. Helen Smith. She wrote the book called Men on Strike, and she wrote a new book called His Side. And I told Dr. Smith, and she laughed at me. I said, Obsidian, the average man has never had an orgasm. You might say, well, Kosher, that doesn't make any sense. But what I was trying to say is that it goes back to the word you used a minute ago called bliss. Most men have never been in a situation where they've been properly nurtured and loved by a woman, where she's kissed his forehead, where she spoke life into him, where she had a smile on her face, where she was kind. And she gave that man a mental orgasm, not a physical orgasm, but I'm talking about a mental orgasm. Mm-hmm. He's never had a mental orgasm, Obsidian. And because of that, when men travel abroad, guess what they get? They get a mental orgasm. We call that a catharsis in the clinical. Mm-hmm. A catharsis means they emit great emotions due to the lack of pleasure and joy. And they start crying, Obsidian, because they've never had the proper love and adulation from a woman. That goes back to love together and devotion. That's what a love ballad was. It was love, it was togetherness, and it was devotion to one another. Some people get mad, Obsidian, when you use the word duty, but marriage is duty. Yeah. It's obligation and responsibility to one another. Yeah. That's where the word comes from. Love together and what? Devotion. Your granddaddy had an obligation to protect, provide, and to die for your great grandmom and your grandma. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, that's true.
And
It
go
was
ahead.
a duty to it, yeah. Mhm.
It was a duty. But see, now, we are so conditioned because we're so weak that any word that we don't like, people get in their feelings. It's so bad now, Obsidian, that, if you say obey, that's heresy now. If you say obey at the altar, that's heresy. And it's so bad that you got so-called Christian women, Christian feminists, they get mad if the man say obey. That's why I don't like that word partner, because what it does, it subjugates the autonomy and the authority of that man in that relationship. Yeah. I'm not talking about men Obsidian that don't allow their wives to help say so. They always assume, because they have what's called a schema affliction or a paranoid persecution, that Obsidian is not going to judiciously allow me to flex in my autonomy, which is the talents and the gifts that the Most High has given me. But that's not most men. I've heard you say several times, and I agree with you. Most black men are highly egalitarian because they are gynocentric in their mentality. Am I talking right?
Absolutely. I mean, there have been studies that have been done on this. Gallup, Votecast, AP. There have been numerous Pew Research Center. There have been numerous actual polling organizations that, and it's rare to find information pertaining to black men, but in this case, there's a good bit of it. And black men, when you look at black men, white men, Hispanic men, Asian men, black men are the most egalitarian. We support black women. We support women in general, working out of the home, going to school, getting educations, running for public office, holding leadership positions in business, starting businesses, being in business for themselves. We support their reproductive rights. We vote with them. Last presidential election, 78% of black men voted for Kamala.
You're right.
I mean, we just go right on down the list.
You're right.
Fate, all kinds of stuff. We're more forgiving in the looks department.
You're right.
Men
you're
are.
right. You're right.
You name it. Just
you're
across
right.
the board. Yeah.
You're 100% correct. But I'm not like that. I'm an outlier. I'm a renegade. I'm gonna get what I want. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna get what I want, because I work hard for mine. I got high standards, and it's time for men to recalibrate their thinking. I keep telling these men they need to come get a non-diagnostic consultation, but for some reason I'm saying folks want my time and talents for free. Men like Dr. Ryan Terabin charge $1,200 for a consultation,
and we'll get it.
And we'll get it. And I'm gonna start.
The reason why, I mean,
right.
let's just get right to it. The reason why,
right.
I mean, he is white, and most of his audience are white,
and
that's just how that goes. Now, in the black community, like you said, many brothers, think that they can get this sort of thing for free. This is why we tell people at the conclave,
right?
Look, man, we're not looking to save the whales,
right?
We're looking to make this is a profit venture.
Yes, sir. Right.
Costs money, and
it costs money.
Been with us for 3 conclaves at this point.
Right.
Or 2 conclaves. Right?
It's 3. No, it's 3. Atlanta, Houston, Miami.
In Miami, yes. And it's a high-end production, and we're very proud of it, but it does cost.
It costs.
And you get what you pay for. So
you get what you pay for.
Real deal. Let me tell you something. The therapeutic, for the brothers out there, the therapeutic business, the business, psychology business, counseling business, therapy business, 80% female.
80%, right?
80%. And don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself.
No, you're correct. You're right.
Yeah, 80% female. And it has a worldview that some would say is gynocentric. Okay?
It is gynocentric. It's highly gynocentric, right?
So if you got a brother like Kosher Clinician is one, Jeff St. James, Ask a Brother podcast, he's another. You get a brother like that is, I guess you could say, red pill aligned, hop on it, man. They're worth every penny. That's why we have Kosher at the conclave. We're going to be bringing in Jeff St. James. We want to get brothers that are not only licensed and insured and all that good stuff, but also red pill aligned. Because if you go to these people out here, man, they'll do a hatchet job on your head, man.
They'll do a hatchet job. And, I'm glad you said that, man, because, I work for myself. I have my own private practice. It does pretty good, man, I get a lot of men confiding in me, but when I take off, it takes money, and people just think, when you travel abroad, when you try to do work for men, I do expect to get compensated, because I don't get compensated when I come, not from you guys per se, but I'm just saying it takes time when I leave my business, man. And it's a business. And I'm not going to minimize my talents for free, and I'll leave it at that. If you want the best, you're going to have to invest in the best. I didn't go to Chicken George State University. Obsidian know my background. I went to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I graduated with honors from North Carolina Central University. I got my degree, my associate degree in law enforcement, and I've been a sojourner for men in advocacy my whole life. I've been a sojourner, and if they don't believe me, Obsidian, I'm gonna flex on them a little bit. Give me a minute, Obsidian. I'm gonna flex on this a little bit. Can I flex on them, Obsidian?
Yeah, we'll go right ahead.
I'm gonna flex on them because this ain't no pigeon-ish. This is King-ish. Hold tight.
Yeah. Shut up, Kosher. Yeah. Shut up. Whoa. Shut up, Kosher. Ballin'. Take it back.
Like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin'. Like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for my bag coming. 3 whole years and these records keep running. Don't talk to me if you can't match the numbers. Ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for mine.
And I don't think folks understand, I'm saying, how fortunate they are. You know, Jeff St. James takes great risk. You know, he's been attacked. I've been attacked.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of hits, man.
You know, we take great risk, you know, sojourning for the advocacy of heteronormative masculinity. And like I get it, you know, I know folks ain't used to me. I'm just honest, man. I know I get in trouble. That's just who I am. I'm not pretentious. I'm a straight shooter. If I got a problem with you, I'll tell you to your face, respectfully. As long as you don't get in my face, we're gonna be good. Because if you get in my face, we might have to move some furniture. But normally I'm a fair man. You see me in person, man. I'm fair. I'm a good man. I try to treat people right. But it's the world that we live in now, Obsidian. And the Dr. Kresge was talking about, it's gotten so bad now that most people, when they go to schools now, they have been conditioned to see things through social justice politics. They've been conditioned, Obsidian, to see it through social justice policy and social justice politics. And anything, actually, the DSM-5 now, Obsidian, they're trying to say that heteronormative masculinity is a mental illness. Did you know that?
Oh, wow. When did they say this?
All right, hold tight. Well, they're thinking about putting in the DSM-5 that, brother, I lie to you now. As soon as I find it, I'll show it to you. That some of the traditional masculinity in itself is a mental illness.
Oh my God.
Because listen, when I went to school, my associate dean told me at Carolina, she said, "Kosher, you're rare." I said, "What do you mean by that?" She said, "It's not a lot of men like you." She said, "You can basically write your own ticket." And you know, I've been doing pretty good these last couple of years. My bank account looks real nice, real nice. I ain't trying to brag, but it looks real nice. But she was saying that you can write your own ticket. And when she said Obsidian, I didn't say it, she said it. Because she said that most therapists now are very effeminate. That's what she said. I didn't say it. She said it. And so, you know, there are contingencies that don't like masculine men to speak truth to power, but then there are some that want to hear the truth. And I understand in this gynocratic culture, it's risky. You know, I think you lost your channel over something stupid. Do you wish to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I mean, that's how this book came about because of a, and I don't want to go into it here because
you don't have to go into it, right?
But matter of fact, you can read the book and it's all in the book.
Okay,
Why
all right.
I lost my channel here on YouTube. I went over to Rumble, and you know, it's coming along in fits and starts over there. But yeah, I explained it all in the book. And here's the other thing too. If I had to do it over again, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I am here for black men, and I'm gonna ride until the wheels fall off for black men.
Right,
That's as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, respect, man. I respect that, brother. Hold tight.
Be honest. When is the last time a black woman in your life was fun? That's the reason why we put it in the 5F conference. Fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun. When was the last time a black woman was fun? And be honest. Tell the truth and shame the devil. When's the last time you saw a black woman in your life that was fun? Most black women are work. They are. They're like a community cleanup project.
And they're running from the statue, man. They're running from the Statue of Liberty. the statue of Liberty cries, I can't do nothing for you. The Statue of Liberty had to go back and revise her pledge, revise her stanza, whatever you call it. She had to go back and revise it because she said, I can't do nothing for you. Hold tight. The statue is crying. They were running to the statue, running for liberation, and the statue cried up. Saying, hold on.
And be honest. Tell the truth and shame the devil. When's the last time you saw a black woman in your life that was fun? Most black women are work. They are. They're like a community cleanup project.
A new movement.
So they ran to be liberated. Now they're running because things are collapsing. And I'm gonna show you something. I'm saying you're gonna laugh at this, man. I did this especially for you, man. I put a lot of time in this show, and this is for you, Obsidian. We went from Hoeflation, a term that I created, to modern day shrinkflation, and she's charging men a whole tax. I'm gonna say it again. We went from Hoeflation, where my man of Peaceful Life came up with a term called relationship capitalism, and I parodied it about 4 years ago on my channel, and I parodied it talking about Hoeflation. Hoeflation basically says that subpar women, they have had a lot of copious fun, now are charging average men a higher tax that they charge the men they slept with. And let me tell you something, Obsidian. I believe that women have agency just like men have agency. Women ran to become liberated. I will argue that there was no woman, in my opinion, and this is my subjective opinion, than the black woman in America. No woman, in my opinion, is more uncouth, more godly, more traditional. She had a decorum about herself that was superior. I'm not saying there weren't some good white women back in the day in the South. I'm not saying that, but black women, and look, you're from Philly, I'm from the South. I'm not saying that women of that generation were doing dirt. I'm not saying they weren't, because there ain't nothing new under the sun. But I remember a time, man, where black women didn't give head. I don't know about Philly, but I know in the South that was considered to be nasty. Yeah. Now, maybe in the inner city, maybe it's different. I don't know. But
a gentleman never kisses and tells. I'll just leave it at that. I won't go into.
Okay, you ain't got to go into it. But you know what I'm talking about. It was a time that they were very couth. Now I get it. They were doing stuff back in the 90s. I'm not saying they were innocent, but let's go back to the 70s. My point is, if they were doing it, they were quiet with it. I remember Kevin Samuels saying one time that women were doing dirt, but they did it. They were quiet with it. Yeah. And I keep hearing these people talk about revolution and change and saving. It ain't no saving it. There must be a de-evolution in order for there to be an evolution. Yeah. You're going to de-evolve in order to re-evolve. You're going to deconstruct in order to reconstruct. Now, I'm not trying to sound like a rapper, but my point is you're going to deconstruct in order to reconstruct. Mm-hmm. The system is broken. Does that mean I'm against it? I think we should do everything in our power to help the women that are left. And I will argue to help the newer generation of young women. I got 2 daughters, and I'm actually working on trying to pair my daughter up with good men, both for pretty women, virgins, good girls. I mean, good girls. I want my daughters to get the best.
Right.
Ain't ran through, because that's how I raised them. I raised my babies to be kosher. My girls are kosher girls. Right. And so I expect a man to get with my girls to give them 5-star treatment. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about these chicks that have a lot of fun, because we use words loosely without adding nuance to it. They'll say that women now, they're not a lady. If you look at the true definition of a lady from the old times, a lady was a woman that not only valued her body, but she had emotional intelligence, and she knew how to respect a man. Normally, women that were ladies of your mother's generation and generations past were either virgins, Obsidian. They were godly women, they were God-fearing, and they respected masculinity. What we call ladies now is not a lady. Right. They have lady qualities, but they're not true ladies, because if you gave your virtue away, Dr. Ryan Taraban said it. He said you got a generation of women that have given their virtue away, but still want to be treated like ladies while they had the behavior of a 304.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that clip on Instagram, and I agree with him too. That kind of goes back to what we was talking about earlier with the whole partner thing. You know, there some systems,
right.
Their view of a partner is you build everything and you get to the mountaintop, and then they meet you up there and then tell you what to do. That's their idea of what a partner. It's the same thing here. You got some of these ladies who want, and I'm not judging, you know, women have a right to do whatever they want to do with their body, but then they want to come back and expect you to treat them like a lady. I was like, well, you know, look, I mean, look, I understand. I can't go out in the street and carry on drinking, carousing, acting a fool, but still expect women to respect me as a man.
Right. I agree. I totally agree.
If I'm gonna go out there acting like a bandit, then you know you get what bandits get. It's the same thing here. If you want to be respected as a, there's one thing you do what you do behind closed doors. I got no issue with that.
Right.
You want to be out in public, like you know what happened last month at the rodeo in Houston. Okay? We all saw it. I mean, come on. I mean, you supposed to treat those women like ladies now?
Right. Like I totally agree.
They're at home behind closed doors. They want to do that. Nobody's the wiser. I got no issue with that. They're going out in public looking like that, and you're supposed to treat them like ladies. You're supposed to wife them? No.
Right. And I think that's the problem with so many men in the West. You still treat modern women like ladies where they're not ladies. They might have some lady qualities, but they're not true ladies, because true ladies of the past were virgins, wife ready, no kids. I'm not saying you have to be perfect to be a lady, but I'm just being honest. If you look at the true definition of a lady from the past, a lady was a woman that exhibited those characteristics. That's what a gentleman was. Gentlemen and ladies. That's why, listen, patriarchy created chivalry. Patriarchy created chivalry, Obsidian. And women were treated special because they were special. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, and also because, you know, the ladies didn't have, you know, rights, school, so on and so forth. So you know, men were expected to take care of women at that time.
That's right.
The problem today is that the ladies want both ways. They want to be able to be independent when it suits them and be taken care of when it suits them.
Right.
There's a lot of schizophrenia in society.
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right. So Hoeflation has led to shrinkflation. Hoeflation said, I deserve more. The modern woman, expensive dates, $295, luxury trips, $1,000, and pay my bills, pay her car note, $710. There are some women I've said that say that you can't even go on a dinner date with them or a date with them until you cash out them. So Hoeflation has led to shrinkflation, and shrinkflation has led to what I call a hoe tax. They charge the average man a hoe tax, and these dumb simps, they pay for it. And so I tell men to counter that, you got to prorate it, and you got to charge her a hoe tax. You got to be like Trump. You got to put tariffs on these 304s. You got to put tariffs on.
I mean, you know, if the lady,
you got to put tariffs on.
I mean, you're expecting, you know, the next, you know, it sounds bad, but you expect the next man to pay top dollar for, and you know, you ripping and running. I mean, come on, man. It's just, I mean, what are we doing here? Can't do that. No.
You can't do it, man. You can't do it, and you can't do it, man. And so, Hoeflation has led to shrinkflation, because I'm gonna show you what shrinkflation is, and they charge average men the hoe tax. Watch this. Hold tight. And white men go do it too, Obsidian. You know, they go do it. Yeah, they go do Big Bertha, Big Bertha from the country. She says she's a queen. Delusional. That's delusions of grandeur. We call it magical thinking. You know, that's what we call it, magical thinking. You know, I call some of these women magical Negroes, but hold tight. Hold tight. Yeah, she said, I deserve the best, Obsidian. It's one thing Obsidian to say, I desire a good man.
Right.
I desire a good man. I desire a hardworking man like Obsidian. He worked hard. He worked in the steel mill, working in the industry in Philly. I desire a good, hardworking, blue collar man. But they don't say I desire. They say I deserve. I've never heard a man say I deserve a hardworking, good woman. Because most men understand you got to earn a woman's love and trust. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, you do. I mean, I think that's true for all of us. I think that ideally you do earn the trust of people around you, both romantically, platonically, professionally, and so on and so forth. I do agree with that.
Yeah. Shout out to John Smith. He said, for Brother Obsidian, your nephew's words from years ago still ring true. There are whores. He said there are whores.
Yeah.
They're all whores. I remember that story. Reiterate what your nephew said.
My nephew, this is way back. This is, oh my God, this is over 10 years ago. So my nephew, I was visiting, me and my lady friend were visiting my sister in the suburbs of Philadelphia. And we were in the kitchen, he and I. And of course, he was talking. He was at school. He was still in school at the time. He was going to school for engineering, university. I'm not going to say where he went, but he was at university for mechanical engineering. So I used to help him with his mechanical engineering homework. Anyway, while we were talking, and of course, social life at school came up because I was asking him how everything's going. And he started talking about social life that led to talking about the young ladies. And he said, "Listen, they're 304s." He didn't use that word. He used the other word. They're 304s. I said, nephew, come on. I mean, I'm trying to be the elder statesman. Come on. Now, college, I try to give him the old college, give him the talk. College, is a time in your life where you're finding yourself and you're experimenting and you're trying to find your way and, you got to be open-minded and so on and so. He said, listen, that's when he pulled out his iPhone. He had an iPhone. He said, listen, I'm trying to tell you, these so-and-sos are 304s. He went to his phone and he opened it and opened the contacts, what we used to call the black book. He opens his black book. He shows me, and he's got each phone number's got the name and a photograph of the young lady there. So he showed me, and he's just going through there. 304, 304, 304, 304, 304, 304. They're all 304s. They're all 304s. 304, 304, 304. I was like, oh my God. So at that point, there was nothing else I could say.
Right. And that's why I get mesmerized, I get somewhat upset where we don't give women that choose or chose to be liberated through liberal dogmas, give men their bodies, and still don't give these same women agency. I'm saying I don't feel sorry for a man that gives his hard-earned money to a woman without making her earn it. He's a simp. He pay all these extravagant dates, and I don't feel sorry for that kind of man. He deserves to get what he gets. No more than I feel sorry for a single mother that chooses to give her body to some of these men. I don't feel sorry for her, not at all, because they ran to be liberated. Because the world don't feel sorry for a simp. The world, there was a song that says it's hard out here for a pimp, but guess what? It's hard out here for a simp.
Oh yeah.
The world don't feel sorry for a simp. If a simp give all his money to a woman without making her demand it, then that woman's not going to respect that man. And guess what? I don't feel sorry for that man. There was a woman when the man took his wife out on a trip, girlfriend out, and she wanted him to pay for all her 18 women. And then she said, I don't want to deal with no broke N-word.
Oh, wow.
So this is what men have to deal with. Hold tight. So this is what you're dealing with, Obsidian. Shrinkflation. See, you and I remember when we were kids back in the 80s, man. For $3 bag of chips, man, you got a lot of weight. Listen, Obsidian, I remember back in the day, man, that a half a gallon of ice cream was a half a gallon.
Right.
The only ice cream you can get now that's a half a gallon is Bluebell. You familiar with Bluebell?
Oh yeah.
There was a time I seen when you got some Tropicana orange juice, you got a 64-ounce carton of Tropicana orange juice. You remember that?
Yep.
It went Obsidian from 64 to about 58 to now Obsidian is about 48 ounces. They still charging you the full price of that said orange juice.
Wow.
So my point is this: men are paying a lot more for less. What my dad got and my granddaddy got from that generation was a woman that was a virgin. My mama was one. She's dead now. God bless her soul. And I do plan to see her one day in the upper room. But she was a virgin. She had no kids, and she was wife ready. My grandma was the same way. And that was typical. I'm not saying all women were like that, Obsidian, but that was typical of women of that generation. I don't know about the North, but I know what's going on in the South. I'm not saying in the South they were perfect. I'm not saying that there weren't women that were getting down. I'm not saying that, because there's nothing new under the sun. But I would say on average, that's what a man got. He got a wholesome woman back then. But now with shrinkflation, women are demanding more with the whole tax, and then giving men a whole lot less. Hoeflation, shrinkflation, whole tax. And men start saying, I'm not paying full price because you're not giving me anything in return. And it goes back to what I said earlier. So many men got such a low self-esteem. They just tolerate anything. You said it earlier that black men are very egalitarian. And listen, I don't knock no man for doing what he wants. If some of these men got low self-esteem, like this woman said, Jolena Tabor, she said, my mama and grandmother was a virgin too. Right. Thank you, Jolena. That was the gold standard back then. But when you got a generation of men that have been tricked outside of their masculine sovereignty, they've been expected to take care of other men's kids and pay all the bills without demanding anything in return. Those men are the bad men because they won't do it for, like you said, the community. I'm not doing it. You're going to have to prove your way into my life because I worked too hard to become the man that I am now. For some average to subpar woman think she's going to come in and get all the benefits of a virtuous woman. What a woman gave a man back in the past was virtue. Now, I'm not knocking a woman for having her fun and doing her. I'm not against that. Do what you want to do. Only thing I'm saying is that don't come in with an entitlement mindset demanding what other women practice. I like something that Donovan Sharp said one time, and I don't look at him a lot, but what he said was true. It's not upsetting because some women don't want to be intimate with men. They want to have fun too. But they choose not to out of discipline.
Right.
They choose not to because they say, you know what, I'm going to preserve my virtue for my husband. That's all I'm saying. Hold tight. So shrinkflation. We went from full size to
Walmart
shrinkflation.
strikes again.
Look at this video real quick. Hold tight.
Angus premium choice beef London broil, 1.45.
And thank you, Jolena Tabor. And thank you, dear, because I know sometimes I feel like I'm crazy when I'm saying this. You know, folks might think I'm crazy, but this woman, thank you, Jolena Tabor, she's confirming what I'm saying. That was the norm, brother. Only thing I'm saying is that if we expect women to be better, men got to raise the standard, man. Yeah. Black men got to stop taking subpar behavior and subpar women for the sake of the community. I'm not doing that. I remember a time a girl got mad at me upstate when I was in high school. I played basketball. I was 6'4", about 220 in high school. And I was just blunt. I said, look, I ain't knocking no other man, but, you know, I think she liked me, you know, or liked it at me with an ED on the end. And I said, I don't deal with women with kids. I don't, you know, because, you know, I had my head on right. I went out here making babies. And I'm going to argue, I'm saying back in the day, women that had kids out of wedlock, they were pariahs in the community. I don't know about Philly. But I know in the South, they would look down upon. Did you see that when you was in up top?
Yeah, same thing. I mean,
they were pariahs, man. They wasn't anything that was looked upon as great. They were looked down upon, and so I don't blame the women per se. If the men would change, the women have no other choice to change. If the men weren't so thirsty and simps, then the women will have no other choice but to change. If the men were not victim of sign language, shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right, then the women will have no other choice but to change. Hold tight.
Ounces, so 1 pound, 0.45 ounces. And this was purchased at the Blue Springs Walmart in Missouri. And as you can see, 1.45, it's still packaged. I literally just picked this up about an hour and a half ago. Here is my scale. Okay, I'm going to zero it out. Okay, so 0, it's on weight. You can see that's on weight. All right, let's stick this on here. It's at 1.09. So if you can see 1.45, 1.09, and that's even in the packaging. So imagine what the meat may be, taking off a couple, you know, little half ounces or something, I don't know, with the packaging. I'm not taking it out of the packaging because I do plan on returning it. But 1.45, and it comes up to 1.09. So that is definitely being overcharged for that meat. So you can see it's back to zero.
So what do you know about shrinkflation of city? What do you know about that, brother?
I think that a lot of things have been the prices have been going up while things have kind of seemed like they gotten smaller. I think that I think a lot of brothers are reconsidering, exactly what they're getting out of this deal. Not all of them are going to,
Man, are you dealing with issues like this?
Hold on.
What happens when delusion and entitlement goes wrong?
I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that.
For all our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool.
Man, are you dealing with issues like this?
What happens when delusion and entitlement goes wrong?
I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that.
For all our food.
For one, I'm not paying for everybody's food. It's your birthday, cool, but I'm not doing that. It's 18.
Why don't you gotta pay for all y'all food though?
You brought 18 crazy. I'm finna leave you. You staying here with them or you coming with me? Are you?
Whoa, bro!
All right, that's Hoeflation, and also she's charging this poor man a whole tax. Shout out to Jolena Tabor. This is my first time on your live. I like News Squad. Thank you, dear. I appreciate that. Thank you, Jolena, Miss Tabor. I really appreciate that. What do you think about that video, Obsidian, for this poor young man? She said you got to pay for all my friends.
I remember seeing that a little while back. It was either Instagram or Facebook. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. She actually believed. Now, okay, it's her birthday. I get that.
Right.
But she actually believes that, and I'm going to assume that they're an item. They're going out or whatever.
Yeah, they're going out. Yes, sir. They're going out. Right.
And first of all, they didn't talk about it beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But then to spring it on the brother, and 18, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
And black women like to eat.
And they love to eat. They love to eat them. Yeah.
Put the two together. It's like,
right.
I mean, you looking at every bit of several $1,000s. Right
Several $1,000s. Yes, sir. You looking at scrimps, not shrimp, but scrimps. You looking at scrimp. And listen, you know what they order? They don't order light.
No. That's my God.
They ain't gonna order light Obsidian. That's about easy Obsidian. A buck. $1,000, about $1,500, $2,000 a meal.
Jeez Louise, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. But see, women that got sons, they should be hyper vigilant because this is what their sons got to deal with now. If you're a boy mom, this is what your son got to deal with now. He ain't getting what grandmama got and granddaddy got. This is what he's got. Because I promise this woman is not a lady. I promise she's not a virgin, and she might have a kid or two. Or maybe she don't have kids, but she ain't a virgin. So my point is, it would be beneath me. Listen, I'm saying I'll come to the conclusion that I don't think it's going to change in our lifetime. Maybe when the aliens come, when Trump, finally announced, the aliens are real, which and maybe once the alien comes and stand in the door, maybe they'll change. They might even cuss the alien out. But I just don't see things changing in our lifetime. And look, it's not because I'm dark, I'm a nihilist. I just see the world for what it is. Yeah, she said she's a boy mom. Yeah, she's a boy mom. So she gets it. I'm saying Jolena Tabor from Southern Illinois, she gets it. She's a boy mom. And let me ask you a question, Obsidian. If you did have a son, little Obsidian, let's say if you had a little Mumia Ali Jr., what would you tell your son about dating, relationships, and male sovereignty? I know it's a loaded question.
Easy. I can tell you that right now. Hold on a second.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
That for you right now. Get one of these. That's I mean, that is my advice for any young man.
Get my passport.
Cut through all of this. Best $1,000 I ever spent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That would be my listen. Me and my lady been together now 17 years.
Right.
Saturday, January 17th, 2009 at 10:30 a.m. That was our very first date. We've been together ever since.
Right.
Through a lot of ups and downs.
Right.
I had not, and I've thought about this, if I had not met her, this is what I would, and I own it now, but
Right.
I would have gotten this a whole lot sooner. And she and I,
right.
had discussions because nothing's promised to us. If for some reason we go Splitsville,
yes, sir. Let me tell you something I say, and I don't say this to boost your head up, and I promise you I'm not doing it. I'm not saying this to make you feel good because I'm a straight shooter. Ever since you know me, I've told you where I agree with you and I told you when I disagree with you, and I do it in respect. But if you were in another country, City, and I'm not saying this, you would be a 5-star recruit. You would just be a 5-star recruit point guard. You'll be a short point guard. You'll be like Muggsy. You'll be Muggsy Bogues in Brazil, or Spud Webb. But my point is, City, and I'm not saying this, brother, to make you feel good. I promise you I'm not, because I don't tap dance. I'm a man about mine. I say what I mean what I say. And I know it gets me in trouble, but that's just who I am. I don't, like I told you, if I would lie and play the game, I probably could be blown up by now. I just can't do it. But if you're in another country, City, I'm telling you, brother, you're very erudite, you're smart, you're author. You will be a 5-star brother. They will love them some City in Colombia. And the thing about it, City, you won't get no average chick. You will get a nice one, City, a nice Colombiana. If you was in DR, City, they would love you to death. You're stately, you dress good. They would love them some City. Look, you remember that song back in the day, City? back in the day, it was back in the 70s. The song said, "So fine, so fine, blow my mind."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
man, you will lose your mind.
Well,
and I'm not telling you that
we talked about it. I mean, we were very, very candid. I told her, I said, "Look, I caught lightning in the bottle with you. I don't think I'm gonna be able to catch lightning twice. And she said, I understand. I get it. I said, that's the next stop is out of the country. So if I was talking to my younger self, or if I was talking to a son, or if I was talking to a younger man, what would I say to them? My number one piece of advice, this. Number one, there's other things you got to do, money, make sure you look good, take care of yourself. There's other things that got to be worked out, make sure you get your head on straight, talk to people like you, make sure everything is in place. But right off the rip, number one thing, this. Because it's gotten to a point now, trying to find a sister that you're attracted to, she's attracted to you, y'all have similar values, beliefs, desires, expectations. That's at my age, I'm 57. You take, maybe 10 years younger, let's say. So she'd be in her somewhere in her 40s. That's hard to find, man.
That's hard to find, man. That's hard to find. And let me tell you something, some women assume that foreign women just want you for your money and they want a green card, and that's not true. That's not true. Can that be true in some situations? Yes, but that's not necessarily true. Obsidian. They all don't want you for your money. A lot of them don't even want to come back to America. But what I will say is that they have been raised right. They've been raised different. They've been raised in a traditional family. I'm not saying the foreign women are perfect. I'm not saying that a passport is the panacea, and I'm gonna prove my point. Because if you're a broken man in America, you'll be a broken man abroad. If you're a simp in America, you'll go over there simping and getting scopamine because you don't understand how to move as a man. So we understand that foreign women are not perfect. I had somebody, Kevin Salmon talked about sign language. I guess he got some BJS more shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. And I came up with my own acronym called DEAF. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue to ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message, and then they fight you or flee. Let me play this real quick, and then we'll get into a whole take.
Cognitive dissonance is a condition that happens for a myriad of reasons. Many times in modern America, men and women often do one of the following. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue to ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. And they will fight you or flee because they cannot hear what you are saying. A condition such as this, tied into cognitive dissonance, often happens to those that have or lack self-awareness. They stay in a perpetual cycle of arrested development, exhibited by this.
When you date a woman and she may be a potential wife, it's a competition thing all the way. I can't take it no more.
They feel propped up because they feel more beholden to the government. And then their man comes second. That's why they figure that they're strong, independent, don't need no man because they have the government.
Because the men are failing us, to be honest. Guys thinking about themselves and they'll think about you after you react.
You don't hear anything about being good wives and all this other stuff. What you hear is you're strong and you independent. You can do it on your own. You got black girl magic, black girl rock, but you ain't said nothing about black family.
My mother is like what they consider to be the strong black woman. I feel like I projected that onto the guys that I dated.
Ladies have no idea how stiff their competition really is. You have no clue how black men are viewed in the rest of the world. We are the #1 most sexually desired man on the face of this planet.
They would call Jesus Dusty if he was here living in America because of the gross narcissism that a lot of our women have.
I'm sitting. I said that about 4 years ago.
Yeah, that was a good movie too. Shout out to Al Grease. That was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you enjoyed it. Yeah, that was about. And I got to go back and look at the videos. Al Grease gave me. Shout out to Al. I reached out to him about a couple of months ago, about half a year. He was sick.
I didn't know that.
He's doing. I think he's doing better. But he's been sick. But I said that about 4 years ago in the movie Frustrated 3. And it's gotten worse. When I hear these positive people, you got in criminal justice, when I went to school in law enforcement, you got a Pollyanna and you got a Cassandra. You know what that is, right? And a Pollyanna, I think a Pollyanna is more positive, Cassandra is negative. And, they're always thinking positive, and let's say you can't. It's going to take a de-evolution. I'm not against change. I just understand that you can't take new wine and put it into old wineskin. And we understand the foreign women are not perfect, but some people love to bellow the sentiment. Oh, they're going to get you money. No, the problem is a lot of American women don't want to compete. A man like your quality, no kids, in Colombia at 57, you can get you a dime, brother. Yes, I'm telling you, brother, you can get you somebody. Yeah, you just don't know how much potential you got, man. And I just leave it alone. You don't even know your potential. And like I said, I'm not trying to say anything to boost your head. I even told my wife, and I love my wife. I've been with her for 33 years. My wife's natural, she's cute, short, all my kids by her. But I told her the same thing. If I was a single man again, I'm gonna get on the wings of an eagle. I'm gonna be like one of them Pentecostal preachers. I'm gonna get on the wings of an eagle, man.
It's just so difficult. It's very difficult to find a sister that hits all, attractive, and y'all have the same values and so on, and so desires, expectations. It's a lot of moving parts, and the women of yesteryear are gone, man.
They're gone.
They're gone. And then in 1995, only 2% of Americans, white, black, otherwise, met online.
Right.
Today, it's over 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So, and many young brothers, we talk about, if I was talking to my son, a young man, brothers like that, they don't remember what it was like back in the 1990s. They never seen.
They don't. They
never seen a landline phone. They never seen a pager.
That's true. True.
Many, I think.
Very true.
I read. I want to say it was Washington Post. They did an article, big article. Half of young men under 30 have never approached a woman in public.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is online now. So I just don't see how a young brother today can really make that work. You got some notable exceptions in there, but for the most part, and then you got Me Too, the Me Too piece. And it's just so many different things. That's usually why I just, man, just get you a passport, bro, and get out of the country.
You got to, man.
That way. Yeah.
You got to. And, of course, they're going to say, oh, you're lame. You got some of these these dumb coaches, some of these goofy coaches. Oh, you got, I hear these clowns talking about you got to make more money and you can make all the money you want. Will Smith made a lot of money. Jeff Bezos made a lot of money. A lot of men make money and they still don't get respect. The neurosurgeon that I talked to made money. He didn't get no respect because the problem now, they don't want equality, they want superiority because it's spiritual, and I'm not going to get into it because it's on an esoteric level, but it's spiritual, it's witchcraft. The scripture said that rebellion is as witchcraft and stubbornness is as idolatry. They worship their feelings to rebel against the authority of the man. And so in Latin America, where the DR, as long as you know the game and you know how to navigate, being 5'7" in DR is natural.
Oh, yeah.
Being 5'7", you ain't got to worry about quote unquote short man syndrome because most of the men are your height in those countries.
Yeah.
They're short, they're your height. I mean, actually, average height is 5'9". Yeah. So, they'll see a stately gentleman like you, and you won't get no average woman. You could get a fine woman as long as you know how to move and you get your head right. You can't go over there not knowing your worth and going up there simping, and you can't do that. But you will be a 5-star recruit. Now you would be the point guard. I would be Shaq, because I know I could do the same thing. I'm 6'5", 6'6" with shoes on, like shout out to my man Quiet Storm, and I'm a 5-star recruit, man. Yeah. Chris Mouthpiece, highly educated, Ivy League Southern, Ivy League adjacent education. I make 6 figures plus. Not trying to brag, but I make good money.
Yeah.
And so you think I'm worried about? You think I'm worried about some of these chicks? Like, I'll give you an example. Kendra G tried to mock men. She said, "Oh, you older men can't keep it up." And that's this projection. She said you can't keep it up.
What do you mean can't keep it? What she mean by that?
Well, what she's trying to say, and listen, and I'm glad you asked the question, Obsidian. She's basically trying to say that some of these older men have erectile dysfunction. Now, listen, some do. Right.
There's a new study. I had to send it to you. There was a new study that came out of the European Union.
Right.
About that. So
yes, sir.
They found that you know what? Hold on a second. I'm gonna read it to you right off.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Right off the phone, so everybody can see this. Where is it? A large sample size, 67,000. Research by Avik et al. Finds average men's sexual desire is substantially higher. More stable than women's throughout most of their adult lifespan. Peak average sex drive for women is 20 through 30.
Right.
Is lower than men's around 60. So in other words, a man of 60, and so that we're clear, they're both in good health.
Right.
So a man of about 60 has a higher sex drive than most women at 30.
Right. But let me challenge that. Not challenge, but parrot that, because that's a valid point. But watch this. It's not so much Obsidian that he can't get it up because something is wrong with him. It can be that he's overweight.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough protein in his diet. He's not getting enough sleep. He doesn't drink enough water. He's not lifting weights because we understand there's a correlation to vitamin D. He's not getting enough vitamin D. He's not getting enough lean protein. He's not getting sleep, and he's not controlling his cortisol levels. I take magnesium glycinate as a therapist. I use a concept called nutritional psychiatry. Hippocrates said, "Let the food be thy medicine. Let the medicine be thy food." And so a lot of doctors give people Western medicine based on neurobiology and neurochemistry. I don't do that. When I talk with my patients, I give them, I'm very exhaustive before I recommend medication. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I try to look at all underlying etiologies before I say, get on some psychotropic medication, because sometimes it's a nutritional deficit. And so I said all that to say this, Obsidian. Sometimes he can't get it up because he's stressed out. Sometimes when you look at your body, he can't get it up. When he see that fupa, when he see that you don't work out, you ain't sexy, you got a bad attitude, we call it a psychosomatic response, or what we call psychogenesis. And so when he look at that woman upstairs, she got a fupa, she got a bad attitude with a bonnet on her head. That man can't get up. But when he go to a woman obsidian, he's eating good. Because they've done studies obsidian. They said when men go to Brazil and those other countries, not only do they lose weight, I've heard men tell me specifically obsidian that they thought they had erectile dysfunction. But when they got to, but watch this obsidian, but when they got to Brazil, they said that scripture in the Old Testament, can these dry bones live? That's what they said. They said, can these dry bones live? And they said what it means, and that their meat got hard when they got in other countries. Because sometimes obsidian is that feminine touch. He's getting his rest. He's not stressed out by the toxicity in America. So watch this obsidian. When a Kendra G try to shame me, no disrespect to Kendra G, and say, oh, y'all men can't get it up, watch this. Well, guess what? I would say to Kendra G, you can't keep it up because you got to use fake up, you got to use wigs, and you can't keep it in, meaning once a woman gets a certain age, you can't carry a baby to gestation. But obsidian can still make a baby. Actually, obsidian can make a baby till he's 80 if he can get his meat up and eat right. If you listen, and the old folks you say in the church obsidian, they say, only thing I need is a willing vessel. That's all you need is a willing vessel. That's all you need is a willing vessel, obsidian.
So there are studies now. So there, because I know, there are ladies in the community try to shoot back with. Listen, for brothers that, like you said, that don't take care of themselves. So that's true. But
it's true.
I mean, for me, I've never had to use. I'm 57. I've never had to use a blue pill. Never.
Yes, sir. Right. Can these dry bones live? And I've heard men say, let me tell you something. Like I said a minute ago, it's psychosomatic. In the clinical, that means mind impacts the body. There's combinations of DSM-5 called somatoform disorders. That basically means that trauma can impact your physical functions. Soma in the Greek means body. That's what it means. It's called somatoform. But when those men who went abroad, obsidian, because let me tell you something, a woman's touch is energy. They've done studies that when women will hug children who have been traumatized, the neurons in the brain start reconnecting again, obsidian. Because you can get trauma blocks due to trauma. But when you hear that soft voice, when that woman is in that kitchen cooking that man some fresh mangoes and some fried fish, and she got a quiet voice and she's kind, and she got a flat stomach and wide hips because she work out, and she got a soft voice, man, that man is motivated. That man will be singing that song by Teddy Pendergrass. He said, "You inspire me." But men in America are not inspired. They stressed out. They come home, the wife got a bonnet on her head. She got a big back. She got a fupa. She don't listen. She's hard-headed. And, and how can a man get his meat up? So bad attitude can cause a man to have erectile dysfunction. So it ain't got nothing to do with necessarily something's wrong with that man having erectile dysfunction. It says he's stressed out. Don't you know, I'm seeing that low vitamin D is a precursor to erectile dysfunction. Did you know that?
What? Say what?
Low vitamin D.
Low vitamin.
Do the research, man.
D, right? It would have to be D, right?
It would have to be D.
It couldn't be vitamin A or vitamin C.
Right.
Vitamin D, right?
Vitamin, yeah. Vitamin D is a callus hormone, and it jumpstart every hormone. Also zinc and magnesium. The body needs those essential trace minerals in order to be optimized, and a lot of men don't have it. And so my point is this. A man like you're a 5-star recruit abroad, man. They will love themselves some obsidian. They will go crazy over some obsidian, and you will go crazy over. You will lose your mind, man. You won't even know how to act, man. Listen, let me tell you something. You better not ever go abroad. I'll leave it at that, because if you go abroad, you say, listen.
I've heard stories a lot, brothers.
You better not ever go abroad.
You got a wife. I don't know.
You gonna tell bro. If you go abroad, you're going to say, listen, you can go talk with your girlfriend. You say, listen, look, I come to a decision. I apologize, but, I'm a sucker for love. You'll be singing Dr. King when he was up there. He said, my eyes have seen the coming of the glory of the Lord. You're gonna be quoting new songs by Dr. King, man, because I'm telling you, man, the femininity there from conversation I had with other men, and also from what I've seen when I did the movie, it's something you've never seen before in your life. That's why
y'all did that in Brazil.
We did that in Brazil. Yes, I've been to Brazil twice. Mm-hmm. First time to tour. Second time I was with Al Grease when they filmed.
Right.
Me and Dr. Neil, we were over there I think twice. Well, first time, and he's been to Kenya several times. He's a single man. But my point is, men that travel, and they're healthy. Maurice Martin laughing. Yeah, yeah, my eyes have seen. Yes, Maurice Martin. I've seen him. I've seen him tell his girls, he's been, listen, you know, I try to be, but look, I think we're gonna have to end this. Because you think I'm joking, upsetting.
Yeah.
And I know you love your girlfriend. I ain't trying to call an interruption in your relationship. But I promise you, you'll be singing that song by the Temptations or Mary. What's that woman named Mary Wells' Secondhand Emotion by Smokey Robinson? Secondhand Emotion. Whatever that song was, you'll be singing that, man. There have been men.
Check your Facebook Messenger. I just sent you that study I just talked about. I just sent
cool.
the link to you.
Okay, cool. Let me pull it up. But yeah, man, you would lose your mind. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Association of Sexual Desires with Demographic. So we'll go over it in a minute. We'll go. Oh, this is complex. All right. So this is very comprehensive. Okay, I'm gonna check this out, man.
Okay.
What did you garner from that conversation based on what you saw, brother? What did you garner from?
Your volume went down real low.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said, what did you garner from that when you read it? What did you garner from
it? I've always had a high drive. I'll put it that way.
Right.
And you hear, you brought up Kendra G. I'm gonna move it off of her and go to the more general. You hear sisters in the community that will say, you'll talk about the erectile thing and so on and so forth. And there is a ring of truth to that.
That's a root
truth. But they take it to such an extreme.
Right.
All of us brothers don't need that. Okay.
Right.
All of us brothers ain't in bad shape. There's so much ageism against black men.
Right.
Right. To where, every brother that's over 40 is looked at with suspicion and you're trying to move him into an early grave and all that sort of stuff. And are there some brothers out there that don't take care of themselves? Yes.
Right.
But there are brothers out there that do, and they function just fine. I'm one of them. And hey, look, man, I mean, I've never been with a lady whose drive is higher than mine. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Even at 57?
No.
Oh, wow.
Not higher. I mean, on the same plane. Okay, fair enough. But higher than mine? No.
So you mean to tell me at 57 your drive is still high? Very high.
Yeah.
Wow.
No drop off at all. I was talking to I can't remember who it was. I was talking to somebody last week, and they said they were talking to me personally, but they was talking about men. They said, well, you change over time and your desires. I said, no. My desires is I remember like yesterday, I was 18, 19 years old. It was that way then and it's that way now. Nothing has changed. Okay.
Wow. Well, they always assume, they say, oh, you dry and shrivel up. I ain't gonna call the name, but there was a contemporary that the guys were old and shriveled up, they were dried up. And they actually did a study upsetting. They were saying that men's testosterone years ago was a lot higher. Like say your granddaddy or my granddad that lived in the rural South, some of them men can make babies up in their mid to late 70s. Won't use any blue pills. But what's happening now is that it's the food and the stress, and it's also neurotoxins and also neuroplastics in the food and also in bottled water. And that's causing men T levels. Some believe it's social engineering. Some believe it's engineering. And every man that I talk to, they said when they travel abroad and go to other countries, their T levels goes up. It goes up. They say they feel more alive. They wake up, the meat saying the pledge of allegiance, standing up, full flag, man, and it's stress. And I think a part of it, I'm saying that too, you got a girlfriend, but you're a bachelor. So they've done studies to say that once men get married, their testosterone goes up.
Yeah. That's an evolutionary thing. You don't want to have a whole lot of testosterone when you got little small children around. So
right.
It kind of balances it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it automatically drops. Let me show you something real quick. It automatically drops. But yeah, abroad, man, you'll be a 5-star recruit, brother. Easy. And I'm not trying to boost your head up. You will be the man. Hold tight.
And in family structure, an order for liberation. And then this happened. Is this really liberation or bondage?
Come on, we're almost there! Keep running. No stopping now.
They didn't just take the
fun.
Socially, voice in picking Democrat black woman president.
Hold on.
Shirley changing policy more or less 38 states needed for adoption. Women are no longer Miss or Mrs., but Ms., capital M, small s, period. In politics, women's lib secures a greater voice in picking candidates and shaping policy at both the Republican and Democratic conventions. History is made when Shirley Chisholm, first black woman elected to the House, becomes the first black woman nominated to run for president. Miss Chisholm receives more than 100 votes.
White women love to say we're all in this together, but are we? Because history suggests otherwise. Feminism has frequently been about white women first, expecting Black, Indigenous, Latina, and Asian women to stand behind them. Not beside them, behind them. And if we're being honest, it only ever seems to matter when they're the ones that are affected. This isn't about division, it's about reality. Let's talk about it. From the very start, white women have been centered in every movement that they've led. While women of color, we've been expected to serve. Black women were enslaved, forced to raise white children, clean white homes, and cook white families' meals, while their own families suffered. Indigenous women were displaced, stripped of their land, and forced into assimilation schools designed to erase their culture. Asian women were brought as cheap labor, confined to back-breaking jobs, and denied the right to citizenship. Latinas have long been exploited in this country, in agriculture and domestic work, and paid pennies for labor that sustains this country. And when white women started pushing for rights, for equality, for change, they expected women of color to fight right beside them, but never for them. Women of color stood side by side with white women, fighting for the right to vote. But when the 19th Amendment passed in 1920, white women celebrated. Black women in the South still blocked from the polls for another 45 years. Indigenous women, not even considered citizens until 1924.
So basically, black women were hoodwinked. They were hoodwinked. This so-called. I was looking at the show you did with Fatty, man, and me and Messi let go. We had conversations. I respect him. Him and I have had some disagreements, but that brother was moving like a UFO, man. He was jigging, zigzagging all across the atmosphere. I'm like, you must be a unidentified Aryan phenomenon, because he was bojangling. He was doing a lot of bojangling. I know you were quiet. You were just doing. I guess you were writing your book. I think you were taking notes. I'm saying you was quiet writing. You think you was writing notes, but he was doing a lot of bojangling and a lot of flip flopping.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of them do. They don't really, I remember him saying that Kevin Samuels failed black men for 3.5 years. Kevin Samuels talked about black men changing and addressing what black men need to do, and he made the fallacy or the spurious notion that there was no evidence to the contrary, that he pivoted for money. Well, he's pivoting for money. When you pander to women, you're pivoting for money. He's doing the same thing he accused Kevin of. But what do you think about what this woman said, man? I
think she's 100% correct. I talk about that in the book, about how white women talk a mean game about all this feminism and whatnot, but when push comes to shove and the rubber hits the road, they squat up behind their men. I mean, we've seen this politically, pretty much all throughout Trump's era. When he first got into office in 2016, white women broke for Trump. It went kind of sideways in 2020, but it happened again in 2024. It wasn't just white men that left the Democrat Party in droves. It was quite a few white women that went in that direction too. So right. Black women kind of get upset at white women for, I guess, quote unquote, abandoning them and so on and so forth. They just don't understand. White women and white men have their own thing going on.
Right.
But don't get it twisted, because when it comes down to race, they're going to put their own squabbles aside and unite around the fact that they're white.
Right.
The white woman may not like the fact that the white man does what he does the way he does it. And they want to, and right now we're in a period coming up on the 250th anniversary of the United States. white men have always created anything and everything of foundational value in this society. White women had no say. And what they want right now is say and how things go. Now, what will happen in the next 250 years, I don't know. But so far, it's been white guys who burn it. They're the ones that were the founding fathers. They were the one that created the presidency. They were the one that founded the Congress, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. They were the ones that founded Silicon Valley. They were the ones that founded Hollywood. They were the one that founded the NFL, the NBA, the Major League Baseball, and the NHL. They were the ones that founded Wall Street. They were the ones that built the World Trade Center, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, the Walt Whitman Bridge, the Ben Franklin Bridge, all the airports. I mean, you know, the Hoover Dam, the Empire State Building, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So whether or not white women will be able to get a say in what goes on moving forward remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. White women have benefited from what white men did. They benefited.
They benefited, right.
They may not like how he did it, or they may not like how he treat them sometimes, but she benefited. She
benefited.
Keep on benefiting.
Right.
And that's the thing that black women don't seem to understand is that white women, they going to put all that feminism stuff aside and get in there and get what's good there with a white man. So the lesson for black women is, at what point are you going to get behind your man? Because the white woman going to get behind her man. And we saw this in the elections too in 24. The Hispanic woman, the Hispanic guy left. Guess who the Hispanic woman's doing? She get right behind the man. So, the only one that's out there that's out there flat-foot is black women.
Right. Well, they tell the black man to get behind the black woman.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They say, "Get thee behind me, black man." That's what they tell the black man. And some of these old dumb simps, they get right behind them. Okay, they're dragging their knuckles like track of dice. And so they get right behind them, man. I would never do that. I'm not getting behind no woman. I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna be the leader. It ain't gonna be no get behind you, lead me. That would never happen on my clock. And if a man don't like you, you ain't gotta associate with me. I'm not doing that. I'm not no other man if you want to be a simp. But I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be the man, and you're gonna be the woman. I'm Tarzan, you Jay, and we're gonna make this thing work. And you're right. There was not one time the black men upset and conspired with white men, smoking cigars in ivory towers, creating policy to oppress black women, because black men were seen as 3/5 human. Black men were the first slaves. Black men were hung as strange fruit. We were the ones getting killed and destroyed, and we were both mules of a common cause. But the black women that say, I heard a woman say, I think Angry Man, but she was talking about black men assimilated into a patriarchy. There was no true patriarchy for black men. We can argue there was a quasi at the meso mean group, and maybe in some communities, and maybe at the micro, where they adhere to biblical mandates and they strive to live up to the patriarchy explained in the Bible. And if you're a Muslim, to what was in Islam.
Right.
But a true patriarchy is at the macro level, because a true patriarchy, watch this, is predicated in a theocracy. I'm going to say it again. A true patriarchy, Obsidian, is predicated in a theocracy. That's why in Islamic countries where they practice Sharia law, no women don't get out of line. Ain't no tolerance. And I'm not saying I agree with Sharia law, but I'm just saying that they don't play.
Yeah.
You get out of line in those countries, you could lose your life.
Oh yeah.
Am I talking right?
Oh yeah, no. It's very we have precedent for this. The Taliban a couple years ago, after many years of, first of all, the Taliban started out. Back then they were called the Mujahideen movement. So you had them in the 1980s. They were fighting the Soviets. The Soviet Union was trying to invade Afghanistan. We being the United States, CIA in particular, we gave them shoulder-mounted missiles to fight the Soviets. They fought them off. Okay. So then going into the 90s, going into the 2000s, the Mujahideens became the Taliban movement. And then the whole thing with September 11 jump off. United States goes in, invades Afghanistan, stays there 20 years. Finally, the Taliban ran us out. They go and retake the government, and they're out there. And now, you had these Afghan feminists. They call themselves getting out in the street and protesting. You know what the Taliban did? Now, they didn't shoot them. They didn't shoot them. Put their rifle on their back. They lead pipes, and they took them pipes to those women.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, you go look it up. Al Jazeera and all that. You look
Right,
it up. So
right.
they took those lead pipes. They beat them. They beat those Afghan feminists in the street. Beat them.
Wow.
That was the first time and the last time you saw some Afghan feminists out there protesting. You ain't see them out there no more after that.
Wow.
I'm not saying that makes it right. I'm just saying that's what they did.
That's what they did. Right. No, you're right. Exactly right. And so, black men never had sovereignty over their women. Now, here's what people get it confused, Obsidian. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it real clear. And I know you're an intellectual. You understand what I'm saying. Domestic issues are endemic to all ethnic groups.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again. Domestic issues are endemic to all ethnic groups.
Right.
Some of the same stuff that was going on with grandma and grandpa, it was going on in the Indian community. It was going on in the white community, in the hillbillies in the South. It was going on in all communities, but somehow black men always get absconded as being genetically predisposed for violence.
Yeah.
Am I talking right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now we got these this spate of black women being killed, right? And I was looking on Instagram. I want to say this morning. I was looking on Instagram or last night, and one of the pages over on Instagram, they say her name, and they was looking at the different cases. The one sister that got killed by her husband, or her estranged husband, Justin Fairfax.
Yes, sir.
She was among the multitude.
Right.
And then you had Ashley Janae in Africa. So you had that. So you had a number of these different cases. And now I was reading today, and I don't know all the details, but a really horrific situation. A bunch of children got shot and killed, and it's really bad down in Louisiana. So it gives you the impression that this is something that's unique to black men. I said, but wait a minute. You got the sister that got killed over in Africa, you know what I mean? And as far as I'm concerned, that white guy did it.
Yes, sir.
As far as I'm concerned.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I think he did it. I don't buy that she wouldn't commit suicide. Black women don't typically do stuff like that.
Right.
They don't typically hang themselves. No. So I'm not buying it. So there's that. So I said you have to explain the white guy who did that. But when you look at black men, I mean, the number one victims of black men are other black men, unfortunately, gun violence and that sort of thing. That being said, you don't see many brothers, doing the Ted Bundy type of thing. Right. We don't do that generally. Every once in a while, you might get a really crazed, deranged black guy. But that's like once every 20 years, something like that. It's rare that you get a Ted Bundy, BTK killer type. That's very rare among black men.
Right.
Very rare.
It's very. You're right. It is very rare, and it's unfortunate. I'm sitting on many levels, because it carries the negative notion that's tied to white supremacy, that black men are violent, we're dangerous. That's been carried in pre-antebellum times. It was also carried in post-antebellum times.
Yeah.
You might ask me the question, what do you mean by that, Coach? Would they ask Emmett Till? I'm 6'5". I get on the elevator, I turn the other way. I've been walking up, even though I'm a scholarly, educated man, folks start clicking it, they click at the car when they see me. They judge me based on my size. They tell me you got a very strong presence. They tell me that you're intimidated. I've heard that my whole life, man. So black men historically have been demonized as being aggressors of violence. And it's unfortunate. But what I find funny, Obsidian, is that historically, when you look at all the evil that's been done in the world, it was never at the hands of, say, black men. It was at the hands of, and no disrespect to the white brothers, but it was at the hands of white men. Am I right or wrong? When you look at, the word picnic, you use your imagination.
All of that,
When you think about little babies, I mean, brutal, evil stuff, taking babies and feeding them to alligators, turning men upside down and taking their male genitalia away. Black men have never done that to other ethnic groups of men. And the reason why they assail ethnic genocide onto one another, part of it is tribal. I mean, it's like we call it ethnic conflict or environmental conflict, but a lot of it is self-hatred. That's why I don't use the N word, because the N word is part of transgenerational trauma, and I'm gonna do a show on that at some point. But let me show you something. I'm gonna show you something.
After this, I gotta run.
Okay, all right. Well, let me get to this real quick. Then.
Okay.
Hold tight. Let me get to this, and I'm gonna let you go, because I know you got to. But what do you get out of this conversation, Jack?
That's excellent, man. Matter of fact, I got to come back here more often. We got to see if we can try to set something up next month.
Yes, sir. All right, hold tight. Hold on. Where's it at? Also, I'm saying I need your help there with another person. I'm trying to get him. Bring him on the show too. Hold on. So if you look at all of this, it was all tied to white women that rebelled against their husband. This woman said that the end of the goal of feminism, revolution must be the abolition of the nuclear family. What did they do? They went into the black church, convinced black women to delete their babies. And right now, we were one of the bigger minorities. We're a sub-minority to Hispanics now, and it's getting worse. And so basically what it says is that this was a white woman's issue, and she was rebelling to her own man. But when you were seeing these clips, man, what was going through your head, man? I know it was going by sort of fast.
I mean, all of that I studied, in the writing of this book. I had this. Okay. So okay, we talk about black feminism. So that let's get the white feminism out of the way, because black feminism came out of white feminism. So I had to go back. So I know all these people's. Matter of fact, Shulamith Firestone had severe mental illness. She died, I want to say in the 1990s, in her apartment in Squalor, and she was suffering from severe schizophrenia. And there was a number of people that you showed there that had mental disorders and whatnot.
Right.
That's I had to study all that in order to write this book.
Oh wow. Well, Dr. Helen Smith was talking about how a lot of women that are liberal have a lot of underlying mental illness, and the fact that we went from black excellence to prior Lyndon B. Johnson, we were on an upward trend to falling back precipitously now. It's a horrendous problem, man. It's a horrendous problem. And listen, I don't knock nobody that want to stay on the plantation. They can. I'm good. God forbid if something me and my wife don't make it, I'm gonna get on the wings of an eagle the next time. I would never look back.
I blame you.
I would never look back. But before I let you go, what did you got? Anything else you got out of the conversation? I know you got to go. And I appreciate
yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. I think the last time I was here was what late last year. So this is the first time this year to be on the channel. Always a great pleasure to chop it up with you, Kosher. Looking forward to seeing you in Vegas, the Black Manosphere Conclave, September 11th through the 13th, 2026. All the details for those listening want to join us is going to be me, Kosher, Leo, Shannon. We got Jeff St. James and Darwin and Dave Anderson, a whole bunch of guys. Coach Greg Adams is going to be with us. We got a lot of guys going to be there in Vegas. For tickets and info, www.blackmanosphere.com. And thank you so much, Kosher, to be continued.
Yes, sir. Yeah, listen, I'm going to tap in with you on the back end. I need to get in contact with Dave. I'm going to get him on the show, do a show with him too. So you got his info. Tap in with me, man. I appreciate it.
I will. I'll send you the information to your Facebook. I'll send you his information.
Yes, sir, man. Pleasure seeing you, brother.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. God bless.
All right, peace.
All right, yes, sir. All right, guys. So this was a destruction of what once was a vibrant black community. This man said the feminism was always about women's rights, huh? Now, once again, let's go back and look at it. Hold tight. Now, look at what she said, because we went from black excellence to getting involved in something that had nothing to do with black excellence. I want to see a man beaten to a blank pulp with a high-heel shovel in his mouth like an apple. This is what this woman said. These raging, white, nasty women that hoodwink black women into following their agenda. Yeah, I agree, Cortez. He said that half of these TikTok offenders are on the spectrum. A lot of them admit. I believe that, man. I believe that. I believe this. Shout out to a Sword C. He said, guaranteed good stream of season. Come on. Salute, Phil. I appreciate that, Sword C. Thank you, brother. Don't be in Jersey sowing no seeds either, man. But shout out to Sword C. But we went from being a vibrant community to being compromised into intersectionality feminism and demonizing what once was black excellence. Look at these comments, guys. This woman said that the end of the feminist revolution must be the abolition of the nuclear family, human life firestone. That's what she said. Some of these women were rebelling against their fathers. They had daddy issues. Thank you, Ambitions, Paradise 101. I appreciate it, dear. With a channel like this, the subscribers and likes should be way up. These topics are real. Thank you, dear. I appreciate that. Well, when you tell the truth, Ambition, Zofrida, telling the truth don't get you a lot of popularity in this culture, dear, unfortunately. But I appreciate those kind words, man. I really do. But listen to what these women said. These women were the catalyst to the destruction of the American family. But before we go back to this, let me finish playing this clip of what this woman was saying. Hold tight. Let me go back.
Legally barred from becoming citizens,
Hold tight.
which meant they couldn't vote until 1952. And Latinas, they faced literacy tests or language barriers that kept them from the ballot box. And white feminists, they moved on. They got what they wanted, and just like that, our fight.
Right, and basically what they always done, when they try to take the civil rights of black people and tie it into these liberal ideologies, and then they step on black folks, and some of these radical movements like BLM, they step on black people, especially black men, and they continue to push their agenda. And we went from saying people of African descent to brown and black people. We're including brown and black people in our cause. But when brown folks get to the top, they don't care about black folks. My point is, black people of African origin that live in America to focus on their own issues. Nothing against brown people, but we got our own issues. We were here first. We built this country. We should get what's deserved, what our ancestors worked hard for, and not subjugating ourselves to always taking on other people's fights and taking on other people's issues. That's been the destruction, and it was by design. It was co-optic, and it was also psyoptic as well. Psyoptic as well.
It became an afterthought. In the 1960s and 70s, a second wave of feminism came about. White women, now they were fighting for equal pay, reproductive rights, and workplace equality. Sounds great, right? Until women of color said, what about racism? What about forced sterilization?
Yeah, they don't care about that. What about baby deletions? What about with these DEI incentivized jobs, where most DEI jobs were given to white women, white males, alphabet, black women, and black men? We were at the bottom. But black men still, like idiots, voted for the Democrats. I'm not saying that I agree with Republicans either, per se. But capitalism is better than, in my opinion, if it's regulated properly, it's better than centralization of government, where the government is in your business and the government is in your affairs. And they use and manipulated what people of African origin and African descent had, to the point that we have cascaded into nothing. But you can't have these conversations with most folks because they are indoctrinated and they can't hear what you're saying.
What about economic discrimination? That's what keeps us underpaid and overworked. The response was essentially, let's focus on women's issues first.
Conservative values are better. You're right, Maurice. They are better. And that's what our ancestors were mostly. We were not necessarily, well, some were Republicans, but I don't care about either party. I don't believe in partisan politics. But I would argue that, yeah, I appreciate ambition, dear. That feels good, dear. You have many subscribers, and the topic should definitely be shared. Your channel is fire. I appreciate it, sweetie. Maybe I'll bring you on one day and we'll chop it up. But I really appreciate that. It feels good to hear from sisters that value intellectual discourse. Everybody don't value intellectual discourse. They like trash, they like goofy stuff. They don't value intellectual discourse, but I do appreciate it. And do me a favor, you share it to like-minded sisters and brothers that think like you. But we were a lot more conservative in the past, and I just try to convey the message and break the cognitive distortions that many have, because many do have cognitive distortions. So shout out to you, Ambitions Rita 101. Shout out to you, young lady.
As if racism, medical discrimination, and generational poverty weren't women's issues.
This is such a fact. It says feminism used the black woman for a number of their cause and then left the black woman hanging while they got married and moved to the suburbs. This is 1000% true. So, black woman, you want to rebuttal against the words of the Most High. You want to rebuttal against the black man. You even want to rebuttal against the so-called black woman that's sitting here telling y'all the truth. Y'all going off. But you don't rebuttal against the so-called white woman who's using you to push their narrative, to push their feminism that they rose up and created and started. Why they chilling at home with their husbands, loving on their husbands, having children, loving on their children, speaking life into their children, setting up trust bonds for their children.
And that's what the family was in the past. But we're not going back to that. It's unfortunate, but them days are gone. We are in the last days, I believe. I believe we're in the latter part. I believe we're in the last seconds of the last day before the Messiah come back. That's what I believe. It is what it is. Like I said, J.D. Vance, Trump said it, that aliens and UFOs are real. And I'm going to be surprised at some point they said that, that we were seeded here to a concept called transspermia, which is part of the Great Deception. But it'll take something called a hopocalypse. It'll take the hopocalypse for some of these women to change. And some of them still won't change. I heard somebody say, guys, that the typical woman in America will rather be, she would rather reign in hell than to be submissive in heaven. And I'm going to tell you, men that made good choices your whole life, focus on yourself. Don't feel like you got to be pigeonholed to another person because of skin color. If her consciousness is not black, if her spirit is not black, then don't feel like you're going to be loyal to skin color. And you're right, Jolena Tabor, we are in the last hours and minutes. I would say the last seconds of the last days, because what you're seeing now is a proliferation of rebellion. As I said earlier, the master teacher, Jesus said, "Who is my brother?" He said that he that does the will of the Father, that's who my brother is. And so I'm not concerned necessarily about skin color. If you find an Asian woman that loves you and honor you, you get with an Asian woman. If you find an African woman that loves you and honor you, you get with an African woman. If you find a white woman that loves you and honor you, you get with that white woman. You get with any woman that loves you and honor you, but more importantly, you get with a woman that believes in God. And that she's centered around God, Christ, and submission to the cause. Because I don't care what she say. Your wife is not your partner, she's your wife, because partner means co-equal power and co-equal responsibility. Husband means I got to take the blame when things go wrong. When the master saw Adam in the garden, he didn't say, Adam and Eve, where are you? That's a partnership. He said, Adam, where are you? Because he had entrusted Adam with the right to love his wife and to protect his wife and to guide his wife. So we are in the latter part of the last times. And, I won't be surprised soon they'll say, aliens come out and say that, we're not the only ones here. And some of these black women will be fighting the aliens, man. They're going to be fighting the aliens, man. When the aliens come, they're going to be fighting the aliens. And they're going to try to nail the aliens to the cross. Shout out to Vada Dispima, Vatican's, the small hats created the conservative white men. They also created the left white women, all to dismantle the community via influence. Yeah, no doubt. I respect that Vanda sentiment. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, sir. Oh, sir, I think that's a man or woman. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Prosper in their family, but still watching you push their narrative. They're benefiting and you're not. I know so-called black women gotta be tired of working for free. Y'all advertise everything for free, but you won't stop for 1 second and look how you can put all that energy into your own life, build your own self up, prepare your own self to become a humble, beautiful, respectful, honorable wife to your husband and start your family.
And let me tell you something, guys. Let me show you guys something. A lot of these women are running to the Statue of Liberty. They're running real fast to the Statue of Liberty. They are running, guys, to the Statue of Liberty because they are tired. They're broke. The vaginas are tired. They're tired of having all that fun. And they want somebody to come and help them take care of their children now. They want a man. They want a good man to help them. And I had a show with a woman. She came on my show years ago, guys. And let me show you guys something. Because this woman is the typical woman that was hoodwinked by liberalism, and she missed her opportunity. And she understands that it's over. And she realized that she could never go back to the past. And this woman sadly accepted her fate. Let me show you guys something. And shout out to Megan, the substitute teacher. Hold on for that. Let me show you guys something. But yeah, man. If I was a single man again, guys, I'm gonna get on the airplane. I'm getting on the airplane. Again. Shout out to my wife. I got a good wife, but if me and my wife don't make it, my next one gonna be a foreign woman. Trust that. Unless I find a top tier one here in America, and I know it's gonna be hard to find. So I'm gonna get on a plane, and unless she's gonna have to be a special one. But knowing me, I'll probably get on a plane, man, and travel abroad, man. Get me one from the motherland or from South America or wherever. But it won't be in America. I ain't got time to be trying to teach no one how to be no wife. Just ain't got time. Hold on, let me show you guys something. Why does video keep spinning up? All right, let me finish playing this. When I find, I'll let you guys see. I'm gonna finish playing this, and then I'll let you guys see. Hold tight.
And put all that energy into your children and then to your household and to your husband. Like, they have played y'all to the left. Y'all want to be so mad at black men, and y'all want to be so mad at black women who y'all call pick-me's because we sit up here and we tell y'all the truth what's going on, and so y'all want to box us in. Y'all not upset at the people, these white women who tricked y'all, deceived y'all, and y'all still pushing their narrative. Feminism has got you nowhere but single, mad, bitter, a baby mama, a harlot, rebellious, a Jezebel spirit, and you still can't figure.
And let's be clear, this sister's telling the truth. Liberal white women, not conservative white women, but liberal white women. They joined a cause that they had nothing to do with. There was a song back in the 70s, in the 60s, it was called War. What is the cause for? Absolutely nothing. That was the name of the song back in the day. When them black brothers were going to Vietnam fight, it was a song called War. What is the call for? What is the cause for? Absolutely nothing. What were you fighting for? Because prior to Lyndon B. Johnson, we had Black Excellence. We had Jet Magazine. But you were co-opted by the CIA. You were co-opted by some of these liberal politicians that went into the black church and paid them off, just like they're doing to some of these black boule Negroes, these bougie elite buffer class Negroes. They doing the same thing to them. They're called oligarchs, global elites, the shallow government. You got the black boule, the buffer class between prominent, the average black person, and then the elite black, the so-called elite Negroes, black overseers, high-ranking Greek-level organizations like Roland Martin, Ricky Smiley, Van Jones, Steve Harvey, Ben Lindsay, Kim Goodwin, Crump, Al Sharpton, and some black churches. And what they have done, they infiltrated the minds of upper class, middle class, and lower class, and working class black people. And they conditioned them to vote for policies that are antithetical to our ancestors, but more importantly, antithetical to those that believe in faith and antithetical to objective Christianity and objective theology. So that's what you got now. And you got a lot of sisters now, they're tired, they ain't got no man. Because they ran to the Statue of Liberty. They ran flying, going 100 miles per hour like the road runner, running to the Statue of Liberty. They were running to get liberated, only to be used and abused by multiple men, to not have a husband. Because see, times are getting hard, guys, and a lot of these women are scared. They are nervous, they are afraid, they're broke. And I said this jokingly, their bodies are tired. Their bodies are tired. Their vaginas are tired. And they're looking for a good man. They're going to come and take care of them and all their baggage. But the problem is a lot of men are not going to do it. They're like, I'm good, man. They don't want to deal with no baggage. They don't want to deal with no headaches. They don't want to deal with no woman that got problems. Because a lot of these women are not bringing any value to your life. They're bringing a bunch of trauma, baggage, and high body counts. And they want you to pay their bills and to love them, and they ain't gonna cook for you, because they ain't gonna cook for a man. They ain't gonna give you no cat. And and they're gonna make you pay for all the men that hurt them, all the men that impacted them, all the men that lied to them. You're gonna have to pay for it. You're gonna have to pay for it. And so a lot of guys are saying, you know what? No, I'm good, man. A lot of guys are saying, you know what? I'm good. A lot of men got on their Mary J. Blige boots. They got on their. A lot of these young brothers got on their Mary J. Blige boots. A lot of these brothers now put on their Mary J. Blige boots. They sing the same song, and these brothers are saying, all I want to do is to be happy. That's what these brothers are saying there, ladies. These brothers are saying, all I really want is to be happy. These men now got on their struggle Timberlands. They're on the mountaintop with Timberlands on, with their head turned backwards, talking about all they want to do is to be happy. Because winter is here. Kevin Samuels talked about it. It's here. And a lot of women are tired. They're tired. Statue of Liberty said, give me your tired and your poor, but the statue's saying, I'm gonna say you help us back. Cause I'm broke. The government is broke now. The statue said we ain't got no money. So if you ain't got a good black man, you in trouble. Because by 2030, 40% of women are gonna be single and childless. The women that make good choices, they're gonna be covered and protected by their men. The ones that didn't, they're going to be out here in the wilderness by themselves trying to figure things out. And the Statue of Liberty, she said she's closed. She turned the lighthouse off. She's turned her flame off. She said, y'all got to go fend for yourselves because y'all disavow order. You threw the black man under the bus because you said we were only with you back then for survival. You threw the black man in the trash can. And now you're singing that song by Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes, the whole world laughing at me, silly fool. Or you're singing that song by Patti LaBelle, On My Own, One More Time, Love Myself. You're by yourself. Because if every woman decided to get married now, she would be single. 2 million black women would be single and childless, even if they decided to get married by themselves. So they were hoodwinked. They were deceived. And now they are beginning to suffer the recompense of their error. And it is what it is. When women like this sister try to warn, you don't listen to them, and that's fine. You don't have to listen to them.
Out your way is not the way. Your way has destroyed you. No one else has destroyed you. Your way. You subscribe to the white ideology that the so-called white woman pushed, and you still running with it. While she's sitting there with a big old diamond on her finger, with a husband that's taking care of her, providing her every need, being her protector, right? While she nurture her family, nurture her husband, and build her husband up, and build her children up. And you still want to be a single, strong black woman. Y'all better wake the hell up. They played y'all to the left.
Played you
The
to the
hell with
left.
feminism.
Yeah. Play them to the left, sister. And they ain't going to listen to me. Of course, they're going to rebel and say, I'm toxic, They're going to rebel. And that's fine. I realize that you can't save everybody. But if you don't believe me, listen to what this woman said, because she was hoodwinked. I interviewed this woman almost 5 years ago, guys, 4.5 years ago. And shout out to Maggie, the substitute teacher. Then we're going to get into the history of this demonic movement. Hold tight.
Interesting to me that these are the same women shouting from the rooftops when they're our age that they feel invisible, that...
And Maggie is right. Well, listen, let me tell you guys something. I had a conversation with a woman. Her and I were friends on Facebook. And she got mad at me. She got real mad at me because she was talking about what men should be doing. I said, man, let me tell you something. Because, I'm blunt and I'm honest. I'm kosher. I'm the kosher clinician. That means it's raw. It's unfiltered. And I know what I'm talking about. I said, let me tell you something, sweetie. When a woman gets a certain age, she becomes invisible to most men. It don't mean she can't get no penis, because she can. But she don't get the same privileges and rights and attention that she got in her 20s and in her 30s. Women are born with their value, and it greatly declines over time. Men, even though there are some men that are handsome and tall and chocolate and athletic, that's only a part of their value. Their greatest value is their ability to lead and their monetary attainment and their superior genetics. So as men get older, if they work out, eat clean, and they make good choices, they make good money, and a man that's 50, in his 50s, early 50s, if he got money, status, he's a silver fox, he can get younger, prettier women. Just the way it is. Don't get mad at me. It's evolutionary. It's anthropology. It's some call it evolutionary psychology. I don't necessarily agree with the word evolution. But they can get younger women. And, of course, they're going to say, oh, she got mother issues. They're always trying to shame women. But I told this woman, I said that as women get older, they become invisible. She got mad at me and blocked me. But ma'am, I'm like, you trying to flex on me and downplay what men bring to the relationship. And I say, your time is up. Most men ain't going to look at you because men are hardwired to look at beautiful women. Now, she can get an older man to 70 and maybe look at her. But most men are hardwired to look at a young woman. Most men expect their woman to look as pretty as she did when he first married her. We understand she ain't gonna always look pretty, but most men understand and expect their woman to look the same way she did when he said, I do. Men want to put that woman in a time capsule and keep her as young as he can for as long as he can. If you don't believe me, why do you think so many women wear fake up? They wear fake up, hair extensions. They wear all kinds of cosmetic overlays to enhance their beauty. That's why they hate on younger women. And they say that if an older man get with a younger woman, we understand they're predatory older men. There are predatory older men and there are predatory older women, but all older men are not predators. A lot of women like older men for their security, their wisdom. Some say they got daddy issues. That's not true. Or they all got daddy issues. That's not true. Could they have daddy issues? Maybe. But a lot of times they like the man for his wisdom, his guidance. And, if he's healthy, and I say this jokingly, they're like an older man for seasoned wood. You lose your imagination. But they want some seasoned wood because older men tend to, if you know what he's doing, he's better in bed with time. So he got money, he got status, he got to be in good shape. I don't believe in geriatric George. I don't believe an older man should get with a young woman if he's a bum. He's not taking care of his woman. I think an older man should be in good shape. He should, be working hard to take care of his woman. And I believe an older man should be leading her and guiding her and giving her wisdom. That's why some younger women, and I said some, are attracted to older men because they have earned their value over time. And then if they got height, like myself, I'm 6'5", 6'6", highly educated, make six figures, not trying to brag and boast, but if I was a single man, I can have my share of women, easy. But Mag is 100% correct because a lot of these women, they had their time when they were younger, but they missed out on solid men. And now they old. They thought because they had their doctorate with a T on the end, their masters, and their bachelors, they got to always add emphasis to it, that click sound. They thought that would be enough. They always sell men social market value. Kendra G, no disrespect to Kendra G, always talk about she make more money, but men are not concerned about your social market value. To the women that try to shame men, call us old, it's really funny because being an older man in another country is superior because women in other countries, they respect and honor older men. I'm not talking about old simps. I'm not talking about old men that are out of shape. I'm talking about old silver foxes. They got their act together. They're smart. They're not mesmerized by a woman, and they'll let her go if she get out of line. I'm talking about masculine, older silver foxes that make six figures or make decent money, and they got their act together. That's what I'm talking about. Not the average, the typical older man. I'm talking about an older man that's masculine. And so these women miss out. They get older. And they get afraid. And that's what's happening now. They were lied to. They were co-opted by white liberals, not conservative white women, but white liberals. They hoodwinked black folks, went into black churches, psyoped black folks, and this is the mess that we have now. And our communities are the worst it's ever been. And they still vote for policies and things that are not only antithetical to what our ancestors believed in, but highly antithetical to the Word of God. That's why I don't see, even though I'm apolitical, I don't care for either party per se. I do agree more or less with conservative values.
It's hard. That where are all the good men, that being single is so sad and depressing. So this is the wisdom, young ladies, if you're willing to listen. When you get older, you will be so grateful to not have to.
This is what she said. Let me tell you young women something that are single or you're in the process of getting a husband. Most men, if they put miles on your body and you get stretch marks for having his kid, but you're loyal to him, you honor him, you support him, I would argue that most men are going to hold you down in your older years. It don't mean that he won't be tempted to look at younger, prettier women. We're just human beings, but if you're a good woman to him, you're working on keeping yourself looking good. You might have a little salt and pepper swag, but you're pretty. Most men, they're going to stay with you. They're going to say, okay, that's my baby, because I put miles on. But ain't no man with means and a man that got money going to come back to you after another man put a bunch of miles on your body. And your stomach like an oatmeal cake because of what another man did. And you think that man going to pay all your bills and put you on the pedestal and treat you special. No, that ain't going to happen. Not for men that got money and status and means. And to those that try to shame men because of age, I laugh at you because you're ignorant. An older man with money and status is a king. A middle-aged man, 54, can get younger, hotter, prettier women. A woman that's younger, or a woman that's in her 30s or early 40s, her time is basically up. That woman's considered old from a fertility perspective. Are there women that can carry babies up to 50? Yes, it's rare. Do black women tend to have higher fertility levels? Yes, but it's dangerous because once a woman gets past 35, she's at geriatric risk of pregnancy. So if a man has made good choices his whole life, let's say that man say, okay, I want 3 kids. Can a woman 35 to 45 get that man 3 kids? Maybe, maybe not. The likelihood's probably lower. And 9 times out of 10, she already got a kid, or 2, or 3. So what man in his right mind that make good money, have made good choices his whole life, is going to settle for you where he can get something that's younger, prettier, and hotter, and more fertile? But see, they don't think you deserve anything, black man, because they've been conditioned to see you as less. You've been conditioned to see yourself as less, and you've been indoctrinated by liberalism. You've been indoctrinated by your mother to think that women are superior to you, instead of understanding that you were the first fruit of God's creation, and that your woman is to be your cheerleader, and you're supposed to be the quarterback. You're supposed to take care of her, die for her, and love her. See, these same women forgot that the so-called patriarchy, even though black men never had a patriarchy, created chivalry. When men were romance women and sing love songs, that was tied to patriarchal ideation. When women were ladies, when they comported themselves like ladies. But you got chicks now that had a lot of fun because they ran to the Statue of Liberty. They gave their bodies to multiple men. They got children by multiple men. They've had multiple deletions. And now they want you to come and put a ring on their finger, treat them special. They not take your last name, and they call it a partnership instead of calling it what the Bible calls it, which is a husband-wife. And I stand on that.
To do the last third of life by yourself.
You know, Paco, winter is coming. I remember a time where most women had husbands, and Kevin Samuels talks about a time called winter. And you know, winter not only symbolizes the seasons that are about to come, but winter symbolizes a stage in life. When you look at some of your, yes ma'am, go ahead.
Right,
yes ma'am, go ahead.
I am in the storm. Okay? I got a part-time job. I'm a tax expert, so I only work during tax season. I'm 60 years old. I don't have retirement. My family is spread across the country.
Yes, and listen to this woman. She ran to the Statue of Liberty, guys, only to run away from the Statue of Liberty because now her vagina is tired. She's old. Her vagina is tired. Her vagina is singing Negro spirituals because her time is up. And I'm being funny, but it's sad at the same time. She believed the lie. She believed the white feminist liberal lie. Shout out to Dr. Thunder. He came up with an acronym called AWFUL. And that acronym stands for American White Urban Feminist Liberals. I believe that's what it stands for. American White Feminist Urban Liberals. I think that's what it stands for. Shout out to Dr. Thunder. He came out with that term, I think. And they believe in the white liberal lie. And now, which was or what was the greatest woman ever, a lot of those women are struggling. They're not in the ark of safety. They're scared. They're afraid because the government's bankrupt. Trump soon is going to disclose that aliens are real. And I believe they're not but demonic spirits masquerading for the great deception. That's what I believe from a biblical perspective. And we're in the last days, man. And, and some of those that don't have a man, they're going to be the whole world's going to be in trouble. But to those that are single without a good, strong, masculine man, they're going to be really in trouble.
Fall comes to us in its own time. Finders keepers, losers we.
Women of that generation were the greatest women ever. American women of that time period, white or black, but especially black women, in my opinion, was the greatest women ever. They were the greatest women ever. The greatest women ever. Hold tight. Let me finish playing.
I don't have a strong black man who I love black men in my life. I'm not mad. I know my time is past.
Wow.
But I am in the winter.
Wow.
I'm in the storm.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, dear. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel like there was a time where you had a viable black man, but you forfeited that by sometimes bad choices?
1,000% correct.
Listen to what she said. She had a good man. but this is a woman, sadly, that believed the liberal Kool-Aid, drunk the liberal Kool-Aid, and then she's by herself. Because they were lied to and hoodwinked by liberalism.
Oh my God.
I was married.
Right.
I was fine as hell. And I thought that I was black girl magic.
Wow.
So that's why I know the death mentality. And I thought that I was.
Go ahead, keep talking. You said you thought you were black girl magic. Keep talking, Parker.
Oh, but life and reality woke me up.
So it sounds.
Yes, she learned the hard way. She said she was getting hot beef injections. And life and reality sadly woke her up. Now, I want you guys to go back. Let's look at this and look at where we started out at and where we're at now, based on this white liberal nonsense. Now look at some of these comments, guys. I'm going to read them out. Then I'm going to surely end this show. But this is what black women fell for. These white liberals used them for their own agenda. Hold tight. This woman said that the end goal of feminism revolution must be the abolition of the nuclear family. These were white liberal women. And some of these women were tied into occultism. The nuclear family must be destroyed, whatever its ultimate meaning was. The breakup of families now is objectively a revolutionary process. And they co-opted the black family and used the black family as an experiment like they did in Tuskegee. And they successfully dismantled what once was the black excellence. It was all by design. And now they used you up. The economy is bad. And Trump about to come on talking about aliens are real. And you think you scared now. You wait till things start getting worse. We're in the last days. That's why people talking about saving the community. It ain't no saving no community. It's over with. I'm not saying we can't come together and try to help young people and try to save the small percentage. I'm not against that. I'm not against trying to find a small partition and work with them. But overall, it's done for. The scripture says, unless God builds the house, the laborers build it in vain. The current system is not built on godly principles. It's built on secular, sinful principles. And that's why our country and our communities are so messed up. The black family 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago was powerful. Our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers would pray. And they prayed us through Jim Crow racism. They prayed us through slavery. They supported their black men. We were muse of the Jim Crow South. We went to the Roosevelt schools in the South. And after that, now you got a generation of women that see themselves as a separate entity of their black men, think they're better than their black men, but tell a black man unless he's making a certain amount of money, he's not good enough. And I tell you men, don't fall back. Move forward. Get your passport. If you can't find a good wife here, because I got some good daughters. I'm raising my daughters to be virgins and to be good wives. And so to you good single men that are not messed up in the head, because you can't be no simp marrying my daughters. I got pretty virginal daughters. They've been raised right. They can cook. They eat organic food. And I'm hoping that one day my daughters will get with good righteous men that's going to love them and protect them and die for them. So I do have hope for the remnant that's left, but overall, it's going to take a whole de-evolution. In the Old Testament, God told them to kill off the Amalekites. Basically, that was a sign of purging. You got to purge the current generation. It got to be purged. It got to be burnt down. It got to be burnt. It got to be destroyed. It's going to take a whole apocalypse to change what's going on now. A whole apocalypse, literally. And still, some ain't going to change. The most powerful person, famous and powerful I get, the more power I have to hurt men. This is what Sharon Stone said. And some of our women fell for a hook, line, and sinker. We went from black men serenading women with love together and devotion, love ballad. We went from black men making love songs. We went from black men, even though someone was simping, black women back then were good women. They were better than the women now. And it's not all the women's fault, but it is a lot of their fault. And they fell into the liberal lifestyle, sadly. The proportion of men must be reduced and maintained at approximately 10% of the human race. Sally Miller Earhart. She's a nasty woman. No man should be authorized, no woman should be authorized to stay at home, raise her children. Women should not have that choice because there is such a choice. Too many women will make that one. These women rebel. Simone de Beauvoir, 1976. And so we went from black excellence, where 26% of our children be born out of wedlock, to now almost 75 to 80% of kids are being born out of wedlock there. All by radical white liberal women. I feel that man-hating is honorable and viable political act, Robin Morgan. All this is tied to occulted feminism. It's all about anti-order, anti-God, and rebellion. If life is to survive on this planet, there must be decontamination of the earth. I think this will be accompanied by evolutionary process that will result in the drastic reduction of the population of males. This silly white woman was talking about white men at that time, but more importantly, the black women that drank the Kool-Aid, they were talking about your grandfather, your brothers, your father, your great-grandfather, and all the black male progenitors that were born in America that died in the Civil War, died in the Revolutionary War, died in Jim Crow racism, died in World War I, died in World War II, died in Vietnam, and died in wars prior, and some will die in World War III, the last and final war before the Messiah come back. But our women fell for this. They were warned without a cause. War, what is the cause for? Absolutely nothing. Because domestic issues were and is endemic to all ethnic groups. But somehow black men were all seen as Mr. from the color purple. To call a man an animal is to flatter him. He's a machine, a walking dildo. Valerie Solanas. An angry, nasty, bitter, villainous white liberal woman. And that's why when you get married, now she don't call you husband. She ain't gonna obey. She gonna call you her partner. They did a work on the black community, man. They did a work on the black family, the black community. And this person said, I wonder who was responsible for influencing all these witches. Because he's correct, they are witches. That's why I told you partner comes out of cultural Marxism. It's an egalitarian construct that was predicated in Marxism. Karl Marx and all of them, that's where it came from. Most liberals are tied into Marxism or social politics, liberation theology. It's all tied into one. And you get locked in it, not understanding what you're getting locked in, because many times it's tied to Luciferianism. It goes deep. You need to read the book called The Naked Communist. Now look at this. Frederick Engels, co-author of the Communist Manifesto, to those that believe in partner. You know, he's my partner. You know, he ain't no partner. That word partner is not in the Bible. You won't find partner as it relates to authority in the relationship in the Bible. Now, helpmate is not the same as partner. I promise you it's not the same. If you look at the Greek or the Hebrew for partner as it relates to what partner actually means in English, and look at the Greek and the Hebrew as it relates to partner in the Bible, it's not the same. Sarah called Abraham her Lord. That's not a partner. The Most High, when Adam was in the garden, said, Adam, where are you? He didn't say, Eve, where are you? He said, Adam, where are you? Because the authority and the power was given to the man. But the greatest honor that a man was supposed to do for his woman was to die for her. That's called agape love. The man is supposed to give the woman not only eros love, but also agape love, because The woman was a byproduct of the man. Greater love have no man than this, and a man will lay down his life for a friend. So because the woman is an extension of the man is not an extension of the woman. Because the woman is the glory of man, and man is the glory of God, the man is supposed to die for the woman. So there's no such thing as no partner. All this stuff came out of white liberalism. But they got so sneaky with it, and it's become what's called a cultural universal. You got a bunch of black men there talking about she's my partner. They don't even study it. They don't ask no question. They say partner. She's my partner. My partner. And the reason why they say partner, because they don't want you to be the leader in that relationship. They are afraid because they got psychological issues. Some of them are still going through healing. They got what's called anxious avoidant attachment style because they've been abused. They've seen abuse. They believe that all men are dangerous because most women by nature are afraid of men. And so it becomes exacerbated based on trauma from bad men, trauma from relationships, vicarious trauma that what their mother's seen, trauma slave narratives based on what their grandmom told them. Not trying to minimize the women that were traumatized. I'm not trying to minimize it. But they come in those relationships with the anxious avoidant attachment, an insecure attachment, and therefore they cannot submit to a man. That's why they want what's called a safer masculinity. We know there are men that abuse power and authority, and I'm not saying that's right. But when it comes down to domestic issues or domestic violence is endemic or it's bidirectional, meaning women start it and men finish it. So there's no genetic predisposition when men inherently try to hurt women. Because women now hit men and hurt men and don't think nothing of it. I got a video taken down and got a warning when I was trying to give that conversation. But the word partner came out of Marxism. It came out of the Communist Manifesto. It came from Frederick Engels. And it's been matriculated through academia. It's been matriculated through policy. It's been matriculated in media. And so you got a bunch of folks that have been psychologically manipulated, calling their girlfriend and their wives, or calling their wife their partner. Not partner, but they say it with emphasis partner, because partner means co-equal responsibility. Now, once again, there are some people that say partner, and they still say my husband is the leader, and I still have autonomy, and my husband will sometimes defer to me, but I acknowledge that my husband is the leader. He's the king, I'm the queen. My children are the subjects, and all final decisions flow through my husband. But these heifers now don't believe that. They won't even say obey anymore because 1, they're rebellious, 2, they're broken, and 3, they've been traumatized, and 4, they've lived through the traumas of their mothers and also their slave narratives. So watch this. The first condition for liberation of the wife is to bring the whole female sex back into public industry, and in turn demand the abolition of the monogamous family as the economic unit of society. The origin of the family, private state, and property, and this proves my point, it was tied into Marxism. And we took a white liberal perspective and destroyed black excellence in less than 60 years. So he's right. I'm talking to. So he's right. Watch this, guys. He's right. Hold on. So send it to somebody because that was psyop by feminism. Psychological operation. This white brother is right. But you wonder why men are checking out. Listen to what this woman said. Look how delusional and crazy she is. Listen to what she said. Hold on.
The guy I'm talking to sent me money for groceries, $300 because I didn't have any food. Then I get a text from him later asking me to cook him dinner. Told him no because I'm not his wife. And I only cook for my kids and my husband. And he's neither of them. Now I'm blocked, shaking my head. Like, who asks a woman to cook for them before he puts a ring on it?
But she'll give a man her body before she put a ring on it. Think about that. Back in the day, a woman's body was the most sacred thing that she could give her husband. Men and women preserved their body for their husband. That was her gift to her husband. Her box was her gift. The man gave the wife a ring as her gift. and her gift was in a box. Watch this. The woman's ring was in a box. The man gave the woman a ring in a box, and she kept her body and her box pure, and she gave that man a box. So it was fair exchange. He gave her a box, which was a ring, and that box was a ring, and her box was her virginity. But this silly woman can't understand that if a man you're not his wife, he gave you money to take care of your children, but you can't cook that man a meal. Back in the day, women will routinely cook their men a meal because she was auditioning to be the wife. That was part. Women earned their relationship, and men didn't mind doing kind things for them. My wife would cook me meals before we got married. A lot of women of that generation would cook their man a meal. Sometimes cooking a man a meal was just an act of kindness. They had nothing to do with no relationship. In the South, they routinely would tell folks to come in and say, come in and have something to eat. It was just an act of kindness. but she don't understand what the problem is. That's lack of self-awareness.
Feminists are mainly white, middle-class female liberals who have no idea how the real world works and yet want to advise you on how to live in it. You can now wait till 40 to have a baby, freeze your face, work in an air-conditioned office, spending money you don't have, marry someone to pay it off, divorce him, put him on alimony and child support, get a Roomba, abort your kid, have unprotected sex on camera, get paid for it, order any cooked food to your door, get a self-driving car, and then complain to men that they caused you to be lazy and fat. You win. You guys will never be happy until men are nothing but empty shells. And
I'm doing everything in my power, guys, for you not to be empty shells. I want you to find some good women, some good righteous women that's going to love you, follow your leadership, make sure you get your mental health right, that's going to love you, honor you, obey you, and follow your leadership. Because if you've got a daughter or a son or a wife that's not following leadership, they're operating in witchcraft. They're rebellious and they are operating in a spirit of witchcraft. Lucifer rebelled against the Father when the Father was trying to institute order. So regardless of what they say, if they raise their voice against you, if they do what they want to do out of pride and arrogance and challenging your authority, then they are operating in the spirit of witchcraft. And guess what? You don't have to support them. You pray for them from a distance. But this is what the current generation now is doing. That's why I said earlier, if a woman is not honoring a man and not providing that man intimacy, that man don't have to provide for her. You don't want to reward bad behavior. And whether you like Jess Perladings or not, she's telling the truth. The woman is telling the truth.
Feminism has empowered women to destroy this country through the death of 1,000 cuts. Feminism is not about equality, it's about insidious domination. It has been a slow creep to where women are complaining about their non-existent oppression. I am curious to know, feminists...
Non-existent oppression. They got more rights and power than any other generation of women. And they still complaining. Your grandmama didn't have wash machines and dryers. Your grandmama didn't have microwaves. Your grandmama worked for white women in the South, and your grandfather worked as a sharecropper for white men in the South. And some white folks that were poor worked for other white people. But you got more now and complain more. Black women back then had less, and they were more grateful and more humble. And it's never enough. And the men you get with, you're not giving them anything but trauma, rebellion, a used cat, another man's kids, and mental illness. Just like this woman a minute ago, she can't understand if a man this woman didn't understand why that man blocked her. Hold tight. She don't understand why that man blocked her. Hold tight.
The guy I'm talking to sent me money for groceries, $300 because I didn't have any food. Then I get a text from him later asking me to cook him dinner. Told him no because I'm not his wife. And I only cook for my kids and my husband. And he's neither of them. Now I'm blocked, shaking my head.
She don't understand why.
Like, who asks a woman to cook for them before he puts a ring on it?
That's mental illness, guys.
Feminists are mainly white, middle-class female liberals who have no idea how the real world works and yet want to advise you on how to live in it. You can now wait till 40 to have a baby, freeze your face, work in an air-conditioned office, spending money you don't have, marry someone to pay it off, divorce him, put him on alimony and child support, get a Roomba, abort your kid, have unprotected sex on camera, get paid for it, order any cooked food to your door, get a self-driving car, and then complain to men that they caused you to be lazy and fat. You win. You guys will never be happy until men are nothing but empty shells. Feminism has empowered women to destroy this country through the death of 1,000 cuts. Feminism is not about equality, it's about insidious domination. It has been a slow creep to where women are complaining about their non-existent oppression. I am curious to know feminist plan when men refuse to stop providing, protecting, and maintaining.
And a lot of men are refusing to provide. Marriage rates are plummeting. Going to wedding ceremonies are plummeting. Men are just saying, you know what, I'm good. I don't care about this. You know, the Gen Z guys, Alpha Z, whatever you call them, they playing video games, looking at porn, and drinking Coke and eating Cheetos in the basement. They don't care nothing about the relationship. They say, I'm good. I'm in the basement eating pizza, drinking Coke, and playing video games. They don't want to go out here and start dating. See, you know, the new generation of dudes, they could care less. They having fun. They hanging out with the bros, drinking Coke, eating pizza, and keeping their money in their pockets and looking at TV. But they said, where did all the good men go? Who killed chivalry? Y'all killed it. Y'all killed chivalry. Men used to open doors for women. Women now say to the liberal, they say, don't open my door for me. Because they're effeminist. They don't want you to open the door for them. So guys said, fine. You told them you didn't value us, you didn't want to respect us. So men are checking out. They're checking out. And look at this haughty demeanor of this woman.
The civilization you enjoy corrupting. Feminists are about to f*** around and find out.
This black woman who was cared for by her boyfriend for a year after surgery.
Now, guys, this gets real crazy. Think about a man that cared for his girlfriend for a year, and he took care of this woman and nursed her back to life. That's why when people say pay all the bills and be romantic, no, you can do that for some women, it don't matter. This man quit his job to care for his girlfriend for a year, and she now says he's not romantic enough. You can't make this stuff up, guys.
Decided to leave him because she felt he wasn't romantic enough, which drew widespread criticism. The woman underwent a serious brain operation and could not afford a professional caregiver during recovery. Her boyfriend quit his job and became her full-time caretaker for an entire year. During that time, he handled all daily care, including feeding her, helping with rehabilitation, and even cleaning her bodily waste.
But hold tight. But they say the men don't have any emotional intelligence. So who really lacks the emotional intelligence? Who really lacks the emotional intelligence? A man that quit his job, took care of his woman, showed her love when she was down and out, and she still left him. So who's the one that don't have emotional intelligence, guys?
Underwent a serious brain operation and could not afford a professional caregiver during recovery. Her boyfriend quit his job and became her full-time caretaker for an entire year. During that time, he handled all daily care, including feeding her, helping with rehabilitation, and even cleaning her bodily waste. After a year of recovery, the woman's health improved, but the financial damage remained because the man had not worked for so long, he fell behind on bills and accumulated debt. To recover financially, he is now working 3 jobs to cover basic living expenses. The woman has since complained that her boyfriend is no longer romantic. She said he is...
No self-awareness. No self. A woman years ago, back in the past, about 50, 60, 70 years ago, would have valued a man like that. She would have been extremely happy. But imagine if a man did that for his woman, and guess what he gets in return? Nothing but disrespect and minimization.
Always busy with work and does not take her out on dates, leading her to question whether she should stay in the relationship. Some people argue that many people can take someone on dates, but very few would give up a year of their life to do what he did. Others believe the woman leaving might actually be a relief for the man, allowing him to move on from a relationship that no longer values his sacrifice. What would you think if your girlfriend did the same thing?
Well, she got to go. That's why men are checking out and dating the relationship, because the world has not asked women, what do men want? They don't know how to tap into a man's psyche. They don't know how to be loving and kind and nurturing. And guys now know that a lot of it's a game now. Most of them are damaged. A lot of them are damaged.
I say any day of the week, if I see a black man with a white woman, I'm like, that's that deep ass self-hate, my nigga. You need to do something about that, right? Flip that same coin. I see my sister with a man, I'm gonna say girl, go where you love. So I get that. And I can honestly say that's a bias I probably need to check. Do I plan on checking it today? Hell no.
You need to.
Do I plan on checking it in 10 years? Probably hell no. If I'm walking down the street and I see a black man with a white woman.
Y'all see that hypocrisy? No different than that Janae situation. Black women are given the power to swirl. But when a black man want to get with a white woman, he's a sellout because they expect black men to unconditionally follow them and be there for them, even after they've given all their virtue away, whether it be to other worthless black men or white men that use them for all kinds of dirty sex.
There's a weakness in him. Something in him is weak. See, a black woman with a white man, despite all the historical context that we know that sits behind that, I think
all the historical context that we know. You see how liberalism has destroyed some of these silly women. It's okay for her to be with a white man and get destroyed like the young woman that lost her life in Tanzania. But a black man can't do it. They want black men under their feet.
she must have got she's tired. Like she must have got so fed up that she's getting to rest now.
And there's always some trauma narrative. If you ever notice, guys, when a man does something, when something goes on in the relationship, they always ask the question, what did he do? They never say, what did she do? It's always a false assumption that the man was complicit in something bad. Something bad.
When I find out a black man has a white wife or a white girlfriend, my entire perspective about them changes. And at the top of the list, I can't take them seriously because they don't take their life seriously.
Am I crazy for saying I will not date a black man that dates white women? And I'm not saying like you can have never dated a white woman. I'm just saying if you continuously date white women more than you date black women, right, I don't want to date you.
Feel about in a relationship.
White women, if they date a black man, they're wrong. But if a black woman find her a rich white man, right on, sister. Black power.
I might need a drink after those clips.
Yeah, and so guys, this is the pathology, or the pathologies, guys, that we're dealing with, guys. Sadly, yeah, it's the pathologies, guys, that we're dealing with. And you're right. Ambitions of Arita. Serious aware of what's real. Reprobate minds. Yes, ma'am. Spiritual blindness, dear. 100% correct. We need more sisters like you, but sadly, it's not a lot like you. It's not a lot of young ladies like you, sis. But thank God, a lot of black men are waking up. A lot of them are waking up, and they're trying to find, they're trying to find solid women. To get it. There are a few diamonds and uncovered gems out here. You got to find them. You got to go do a lot of trash to get to them. Yeah, she said, to be honest, these women give me cold chills. A true chosen one can see the evil and deception in people. Yes, ma'am. Right, so see. And we thought a white man with her. right, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yes, sir. Women, I would say that I told the woman who listened to Kevin Samuels to get off his channel and get your self-worth from God, not these so-called disrespectful men. Yeah, okay. Well, listen, I don't know what your name is, Carmen Clinton. I mean, your anecdotal experience does not justify the rule. I'm sorry you went through what you went through, but this is not a blanket statement. If it don't apply, let it fly. But of course there are obtuse black men, obtuse men in general. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the struggles that men have gone through. Anytime a person say anything that's relevant to truth, you can show examples of truth, and people still say bash it. That means that a person is reprobate, like the ambitions of Aurelia said. That person is reprobate because they cannot receive truth. I didn't say all women were that way. I never said that, Carmen Clinton. I never said that. If you were listening to understand instead of listening to respond, you could properly disseminate and dissect that I'm talking about a percentage of women in the West. Not all, because there are diamonds in the rough. There are uncovered gems. There are some women that get it, but most don't get it because 92% voted for Kamala Harris. And they voted for policies that were antithetical to traditional black families and traditional black excellence. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that Republicans are perfect. I don't care for either party, but I do care about conservative values. So whatever happened to you, dear, I'm sorry you went through it, but you need to go to a therapist and work through some of your traumas, Carmen Clinton. Byron Hammond said, you can disagree but be respectful and logical. We don't support that's right. We don't support 304 culture, right. And they look like they're tired into culture. Yes, you're right, ambition of Aurelia. It is a cult. Feminism is a cult. It's a bona fide cult because you cannot challenge it, because if you go outside of the cultic order, then they will try to shame you into submission. 100% right. 100% right. Don't listen to understand. Carmen, the men decided to walk away. They're not taking disrespect that is standard in the community. All that mouth, neck, whirling, finger wagging, 304 loose woman culture. Right, that's all we're saying. Yeah, some of these women get it, but sadly, most don't. Ambitions of Arita say, I'm speaking of the woman that we're being shown here. Right, that's what we're talking about. Yes, ma'am. That's all we're talking about. If it doesn't apply to you, let it fly. We're not saying all, but sadly, the majority. Yeah, I appreciate it, sis. You're on fire, brother. I respect and love your channel. All this goes way deep. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. And do me a favor, dear. Share with like-minded sisters. And if you want to, hit me up at kosherclinician@gmail.com. We can have a panel of like-minded sisters, and you can give your story and what you see, and bring some more like-minded black men and black women, white or black, ambitions of Arena 101, kosherclinician@gmail.com. And we can do a show and you can tell your story, or we can do a show where you and others are on that show and like-minded women that think just like you. Samantha Leak said we're partners. Well, maybe you are partners, Samantha Leak. Maybe maybe your husband is a partner. Maybe you and your husband both lead, but it don't operate that way in my house. I'm the man in my house. It ain't no partnership. It's a husband-wife. It doesn't mean that my wife don't have any autonomy. It doesn't mean that I don't sometimes defer to my wife. But at the end of the day, all roads run through Daddy. All roads run through King Kosher. Queen Kosher must always run it through the king. If the king said, no, we ain't going with that, we ain't going with it. Now, if the queen got something better than the king, I'll listen to it. I might petition it. I may not petition it. But at the end of the day, it ain't going to be no, we both going to lead. No, I'm the leader. She's the cheerleader. And there are times, if her talents are greater than mine, and she knows something that I don't know, then okay, I'll listen to what she got to say, and I'll go with it. But there's a clear delineation of who the leader is. It's literally that simple. It's literally that simple. Carmelise, shout out to Carmelise, man. Carmelise brainwashed. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Byron Helms, I don't care about your level of intelligence. All I see is Keisha Babel. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, you're right. And you know what I knows about some of these libertarians, guys? Uh, before I end this show, they'll never have a cogent conversation. They can always they either call you old, weird. They never argue your talking points. They use shaming language because they don't have an argument. Because most are not intelligent enough to have a cogent argument. And they let their inductive pedagogical framework reduce their ability to see things objectively. And so, like Ambitions for Arena said, you're correct, ma'am. It's reprobate. A lot of them are reprobate. A lot of them are not going to change, and it's okay. You can't save everybody. Everybody ain't gonna make it to heaven. Now, they're just not. I plan to make it, but everybody's not going through the pearly gates. Everybody can't graduate from college. Everybody don't graduate by honors, and it's okay. My challenge for traditional black men that are looking for traditional-minded black wives that are genuine, not these trad cons. I call them traditional con women that are fake. But I'm talking about women that are genuine and they're trying and they want to get with a good brother. I'm not talking about these women that are fake after they had all their fun and now all of a sudden they're trying to be chameleons. I'm not talking about them. But I'm talking about genuine women that are honest and they're good women and they want a good man and they want to build black legacy or white legacy, whatever you want to call them. But I realize that some of them ain't gonna get it, and it's okay. Uh, it's okay. It's okay. Uh, Not that you're married to cook a meal for the weekend for me too. You just don't get it, sis. You don't get it. So Samantha, at least you need to get with you one of the more liberal men that are weak. You need to get with you a liberal man. You don't qualify for traditional masculine man. You need to get with a liberal man that's a partner. He follows your leadership. So that's if a woman is not married to you, she shouldn't have to cook a meal. That's foolish. Or based on that logic, then Samantha Leaks. If a man is not married to a woman, then he shouldn't be expected to pay for a meal on the first date. If a man is not married to her, he shouldn't be expected to change her tire if it breaks down alongside of the road. If a man is not married to her, he shouldn't be expected to defend her. You see how silly that sounds? That doesn't even make any sense. But y'all want to be married because any service to a man is seen as slavery. Because y'all believe the liberal white lies. And it's okay. You'll be changing your mind about 20 years from now. Yes, sir, Duffy, Maine, 0590. Women indoctrinated by this BS are some of the most miserable women I know. Yep, you're right, Duffy, man. And a lot of them are mentally ill, too. A lot of them got unresolved mental illness, man. Yeah. Yep. A lot of them got mental illness. A lot of them got unresolved mental illness. Yes, sir. And Duffy, Maine, if you're not married, man, go ahead and get your passport, brother. Just don't even argue with them. Just ignore them. You just gotta laugh at them. You see them on the street, you just walk past them. When they be holding a cup out, asking for help. You just walk past them, wave your hands. Say, I ain't got no money. It's a waste of time, Barry Hamilton and Byron Hamilton. It's a waste of time. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Bless your heart, Samantha. You'll be all right, Samantha. We'll have this conversation, Samantha, about 20 years from now. You'll be like Parker that I interviewed a long time ago. Yeah, Duffy, man. The cognitive dissonance is real, brother. Yes, sir. It is, man. Not only is it real, it's unreal. Yeah, in the clinical, we call that egocyntonia. It's egosyntonic. That means they're delusional. They think that their delusion is normal. That's why when you try to give them objective truth that's predicated in black, white, or gray thinking, they rebel against it because they think that their delusion is normal. So that's mental illness. So you can't argue with mental illness. It is what it is. Don't waste your time arguing with it, Duffy, man. Don't waste your time arguing with it because they don't have emotional regulation. There's only a few sisters that can see what I'm talking about. They can use context clues, but they don't listen to understand. They only listen to respond, and it's okay. It's okay. Public education has done a work on a lot of these poor women. But you're right. You're right, Duffy, man. You're right. The cognitive dissonance is real. Yes, sir, brother. Yeah. So don't even waste your time, man. It's okay. They can only use shaming language. That's their only defense. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, ambitions of a rider. Yes, ma'am. Yes, some of y'all get at me, man. kosherclinician@gmail.com. Kevin, shout out to Kevin. The music that like black men had something to do with that. Bless his heart. Bless it. Like the old folks said, bless your heart. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, red button monkey. You got cognitive dissonance too. You bless your heart too. You mentally ill too. Bless your heart, red button monkey. You must got a red butt like a baboon. Bless your heart, red button monkey. You silly too. As long as they do the behavior, I'm gonna keep talking about it. I'm gonna keep beating this. I'm gonna beat it. I'm gonna beat it to death. I know most ain't gonna change, but I see most men and traditional women as like people on a conveyor belt, and they're looking for change and truth. And the ones that are coming in looking for change and truth, I'm going to be that facilitator. Some have never heard the message. There are many men that have never heard the message. Some have heard the message and they went on with their lives and they moved on. And so, yes, I'm gonna keep talking about it. I'm gonna keep talking about and telling hardworking white men, hardworking black men, and to get with traditional, real women, and to run from the typical, average, modern woman, white or black. That's what I'm going to tell them. Yes, sir, Duffy, man. It's glad I found you. Yes, sir, I appreciate it, brother. I'm glad you found it too, man. Please share the stream, man. Appreciate it, brother. Share with light man, the black man. I'm glad you found it, man. Kevin, I didn't create no monster. The brothers I know didn't create no monster. Now, I will say this, Kevin, was there a percentage of black men that created these messed up women? Yes, you're correct. But you keep equating a small percentage of black men to average working black men. That's a false equivalency. Did a percentage of black men denigrate and hurt black women? Yes, they did. Just like the same women are doing it now. But by and large, there were a lot of innocent black men that were bystanders that had nothing to do with it. Those women got with viral, narcissistic, abusive men. And the world blamed all black men for it. And they've been blaming them from the last 60 years. So it's just an observation, but it's sad. Yeah, Barham, all my life I had to fight. Yep. Those are the clowns of black women. They are clowns who hate black women. But Kevin Kale sounds like a simp. He sounds like an introjected simp. He sounds just like a simp. Y'all remember R. Kelly wrote that song called I'm a Flirt? Kevin Kale sounded like he was on R. Kelly track called I'm a Simp. You sound like a simp, Kevin Kale. But it's okay. Bless your heart, Kevin Kale. You don't know no better either. I'm not loyal to no woman because of no stupid race. Some of you Negroes are not from my tribe anyway. In the kingdom of heaven, God don't look at people based on color. God look at a person based on the heart. You don't believe me? Ask Dr. King. So I'm not loyal to no woman by no skin color. If I was a single man, I'm going to get with a woman, whether she's white or black, mixed, or whatever, that's going to rock with me based on principles. I'm not beholding myself to no black woman based on no skin color, because black women were not and are not loyal to black men. They are loyal, most, not all, but many of them are loyal to themselves and their own self-interest. And they only come running black. They become running back to black men like Whitney Houston talking about, I look up to you. They be singing, I look up to you after all their options are gone. You know, after all the joy is gone, they run into black men talking about, I look up to you. And look at Samantha Lee. Samantha Lee said, all of y'all are incels. All this you got to do is use shaming language. Samantha Lee's probably got purple hair, man. Samantha Leaks, I promise you ain't got a man. Samantha Leaks is projecting out of her own pain. Samantha Leaks wish she had a masculine traditional man. But she got to get with a weak man that's a beta male that's going to follow her program because she has an insecure attachment style. I've seen women like Samantha Leaks all the time. So bless your heart, Samantha Leaks. Bless your little heart. You bless your heart. Yeah, bless. That's the only thing they can say, man. Bless the heart. I hope you don't believe that, Samantha Leaks. Trust and believe. Black men in America get treated well there. You would be, Samantha Leaks, in other countries, you would be invisible. Because Samantha Leaks, I don't know what you look like. Samantha Leaks, you probably got one string of hair on your head. or I don't know what you look like. But I promise you, Samantha Leaks, in other countries, you will be invisible. Trust and believe you will be invisible. You will have a hard time getting a man in another country. Trust and believe. And you're right, Samantha Leaks. There are some men that are undesirable in other parts of the country, but by and large, average men get with beautiful women in other parts of the world. She said the percentage of black men who are responsible is high, y'all. Shout out to Samantha Leaks. John Smith said, you can call us whatever you want, but at the bottom line, that is you. And others who think like you about us black men and other powers that do anything to stop it. Yeah, black men are just laughing at them there, man. When they try to use that shaming language, incels, beta males, weak, old. The one thing they love to use now is you old, shrivel up, weirdos. I just laugh at them. Because my bank account is fresh. My bank account is nice. I'm making bank. I'm growing. You know, I'm good, man. You know, because trust and believe, if I was a single man again, I wouldn't look at a lot of these chicks. You know, because, you know, every now and then, John Smith, I got to flex on them because I'm a king. I'm trying to teach men how to be kosher kings, man. Can I flex on them? I'm going to flex on them for 1 minute, John Smith. Because what they don't understand is that I've always been kosher. I've been kosher since I was in my 20s. Let me show you guys. Kosher king energy. Hold on. Before there was the manosphere, I was. Before there was the internet, I was. I was that Sigma male crying out in the wilderness for justice and equality for those that are downtrodden and broken, those that are voiceless. I was the kosher clinician before I was the kosher clinician on the internet. My plight and my war cry for justice and humanity is nothing fake, but I've always been kosher. Then sit back and get this kosher funk. Hello everyone. Is there equality in America, fact or fantasy? First of all, I would like to salute all fellow human beings and most graciously those who are beacons of light for justice and righteousness. To vocally explain the tenets of equality, fact or fantasy, I must begin with the combination of two alphabets, I and F, which spells there's no respect of person, but gives protection to all of them that fear him. So therefore I ask you this profound and non-scholastic question. If there was equality in America, will I be standing here today? You decide, fact or fantasy. All right.
This is Kosher Connection. 7 wonders the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher.
Shut up, Kosher. Yeah. Shut up. Whoa. Shut up, Kosher. Ballin'. Take it back.
Like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin'. Like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for my bag coming. 3 whole years and these records keep running. Don't talk to me if you can't match the numbers. Ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for my
male version of Sojourner Truth. I've been advocating for black families, for boys and men and traditional families all my life. I was doing this in my 20s, probably before you were born, Samantha Leaks. So I don't talk about it. I do it. I'm being funny, by the way. I'm having fun. But I'm a king, and I try to teach young men how to manifest the king in them, to get with good women. I'm an educated brother, 6'5". My mouthpiece is crisp, very crisp, like lettuce. And I make good money. And so, I don't, I'm not going to, talking about coming back to something I didn't have nothing to do with. I'm not going to pledge my loyalty and my devotion to something that don't serve me. That doesn't even make any sense. You can't shame black men into servitude anymore, because the only thing you have is manipulation through shame. It doesn't work. We let men just laugh at it. It's funny to me. You will earn your way into the life of a good man. Because black men have to earn their way. White men have to earn. Men in general have to earn their way in society. And so no longer will you use shaming language to shame men into submission, because that's all it is submission. Happy wife, happy life is men submitting to a woman's emotions. So I've been kosher for a long time. I ain't just started being this way. Before there was the internet, I was still kosher. In my 20s, I was spinning this hot fire. I've always been a sojourner. I ain't like some of these fake intellectuals on YouTube. I ain't like some of these fakes on YouTube that pander and tap dance and say what they need to say. I don't care about YouTube at the end of the day. At the end of the day, what I care about is my soul being right with the Most High, with God, Yahweh, Christ, Jesus. I don't care about none of this mess. All this stuff can pass away anyway. Give it another 20 or 30 years. We're in the last days. You think I care about this foolishness? I don't care about none of this stuff. All this stuff is going to ground, but I've always been a kosher king. And I tell single men, white or black, to get with women that are going to follow their program. And if they can't follow their program, you leave them at the wayside. Black men should never feel like they have to be loyal to a woman based on skin color. I don't believe in that foolishness. It's foolishness to me. Oh, you got to be loyal because your skin color is black. I don't believe in that foolishness. When we came from Africa, we were not from the same tribe. Some of these Negroes are not from my tribe. I don't associate with some of these Negroes. I associate with people that have the consciousness that I have, white or black. Black women, like the young lady, Ambitions of Arita. Brothers like Duffy man or whatever. That's who I associate with. Every black person, because their skin color is black, is not from my tribe. I don't believe in static blackness. But see, you want to understand what static blackness is because you're not an intellectual. Static blackness is the presupposition that because a person has dark skin color, then they believe in the same philosophical worldview. I don't believe that. I believe in black consciousness, where that consciousness is predicated in righteousness and godliness. And whether you're black or white, because in the kingdom of God, God don't see color. God don't care about no color in heaven. In heaven, it's going to be people from all tribes and nations all around the throne of God. So most of you women now are degenerates. You worship yourself. You're rebellious. You don't follow male leadership. You want to be above a man. Some of you need therapy. You've been traumatized. You don't want to look at yourself. You don't want a man to tell you the truth. Because if a man told you the truth, you will have a condition called the Medusa complex. Some of you women have the Medusa complex because you have been misled and you have been destroyed by liberalism.
It's often been said that art imitates life. And when art imitates life, it asks us the question, why are we seeing the things that we're beginning to see? In this show of the Kosher Clinician, we will be exploring the dark triad and the dark triad personality traits that are often seen in modern women. We will be exploring Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and also narcissism, as those three traits appear to be prevalent in modern times. We're going to explore the definitions associated with those three variables, but also we're going to be exploring some of the celebrities that could or more or less appear to have some of those traits. As I said earlier on this stream, with art imitate life, it appears that later in the past that some of the women that we're going to be talking about, like Meg Thee Stallion, Monique, and Jada Pinkett, is a reflection of modern women. Did you guys know that the vibrations that other people send out as signals can more or less be impacted inside the psyche of a man through subliminal cues, or also through the subconscious? We're going to explore how the Medusa complex, a term that I created, defies or more or less explains some of the behaviors associated with modern women, as many modern women appear to have the Medusa complex. The Medusa complex is a complex that often leaves many women petrified when they look within the mirror. They can't see themselves because if they saw what they really are, then they will actually crack under pressure. And many would say that the Medusa complex is a byproduct of a condition called cognitive dissonance. But that's not the topic of the show. The topic of the show is to explore why many appear to have the Medusa complex. And could it be that the Medusa complex is a byproduct of the dark triad, which in essence includes Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and narcissism? Sit back, relax, and enjoy this show as I bring it to you live from the greatest state in the union, the Tar Heel State. And I need you men to remember this as we seek to bring balance to the union as it relates to relationships in modern times. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. Have you?
And so they don't get it. So it is what it is. But shout out to the logical women that get it. Guys, shout out to the #1 sponsor in Hotite. Shout out to the #1 sponsor. Man, I got this thing all over my head. Shout out to the #1 sponsor, my man Ray Johnson. That's my homie all the way from the West Coast. Shout out to brother Ray Johnson, one of the West Coast homie. I'm gonna play some West Coast music from my man Ray Johnson in the house, man. Shout out to Ray Johnson. I got nothing love for my brother Ray Johnson. I'm gonna play in a minute. But shout out to Ray Johnson, man. Shout out to everybody that tapped in on the night. Always, also to the new subscribers. I appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in. Everybody that donated. We're gonna end this show went on too long. I didn't mean to go almost 4 hours. Shout out to the old man also for tapping in, guys. We're gonna end it here, but shout out to everybody. Give yourself a round of applause. And shout out to everybody that tuned in today, guys. I appreciate it, man. So anyway, I'm going to play this last clip, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, guys. And we're going to end it here. I didn't mean for the show to go this long, man. I should be in my bed looking at some TV because I get up early in the morning to work. But I do appreciate y'all tuning in. So thank you to everybody for listening. And guys, we're going to be signing off. All right. So thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys soon.
Policy at both the Republican and Democratic conventions. History is made when Shirley Chisholm, first black woman elected to the House, becomes the first black woman nominated to run for president. Miss Chisholm receives more than 100 votes.
Minutes out the hour, 11 o'clock, guys. So we're going to end it here. We're going to end it here. We're going to sit at home. Thank you once again to the old man for tuning in on tonight. Modern women betrayed marriage, family, submission, and then this happened. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. I will be coming back again soon. And thank you to all my kosher kings and queens for tuning in on tonight. Be well, share the stream, guys, and I'll see you guys soon. Yeah. Shout out to my man Ray Johnson, always from the West Coast. This goes out to brother Ray Johnson. We're about to end it, guys. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in.
Bring us back by 2K. Feeling like a baller, see the Jordan on my shoelace. Nuketown, stepping off buses, hopping on fences. Call of Duty, me and my niggas, we in the trenches. Camping at the crib, playing true crime LA. Center dreads, nice, bumping Ice Cubes, good days. Such a 90s baby though. If we grind it, then we grind it, man. I feel like Tony Hawk. And my homies got the iron, man. They feel like Tony Stark. And you better watch your head, cause it get wicked up the door. Feeling like Kobe back in his prime. If we talking about the numbers, then I'm probably
Shout out to International Quiet Storm in the house.
I'm like the Dons. This my life, it ain't a movie. I won't be at Comic-Con. Look, big shit popping, grinding like ain't no option. Throwing assist to all my homies, bitch. I feel like John Stockton. Every week I stay dropping, bitch. I stay consistent in. Hurt the blind, lead the blind, but I got the vision in. Know the streets efficient in. Needed my assistance. Real since my existing ends. Came a long distance. Some of these days I get too stuck in no ways. Blame it how I was raised. So she get it displayed. Look, I ain't turning down to nothing. Bitch, hit me the crown or something. Unit full of G's. Back when Lord Banks told me how to stun it. Pops was slinging, yeah, yo, he was getting to the bucks, but I ain't had 50 cents. Now my statement's in the plus. Fuck the brakes, I hit the thrust. Garden snakes, I leave them clutch. Thanks about me in my city. Motherfuckers know what's up, but some of these days I get stuck in my ways. Blame it how I was raised. So she get it displayed. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues. Absent fathers who miss you. Mama drama don't kiss you. All a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women, clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters, acting like vultures. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Condition. 7 wonders the whole world gotta listen. Listen. Listen.